Welcome to Wednesday Comics. To my right, we have the Georgia Wednesday Comics, Alex Pastrello. How you doing?
Hello, everyone.
And across from me, there's the Pennywise of Wednesday Comics, Garrett.
You'll float too.
Holy
I don't know what that means, but
And
You're a scary clown.
I am your Stephen King Marvin. That means I created these two.
well, we're fucked.
Wednesday Comics Comic Book Podcast Weekly. Wednesday's show comes out. We'll tell you what comes out. And then on Sunday today,
It's literally our name.
we will talk about some books reviews, and we usually do a feature. Up top, we're actually going to continue. Last week, we talked about books for new readers. At the end, recommendations. And ran long.
It was getting balls sticking to thigh.
It was pretty late. We didn't notice, so I didn't really notice. So I called myself the Midnight King. That's why you were confused last week.
Except it was almost 1 a.m.
It was.
Mountain time.
So we ran out of time when we were talking about other types of books. So I felt like we should.
That new readers can get into.
And new readers can get into. So we're going to talk about that. Up top, free talk. What's so echoey in here today? Is it kind of extra echoey?
Maybe. Or maybe just louder than normal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably true because, nobody else is in the house today. Spooky. So,
You want to play
So
some
you-
trash?
So you're yelling to scare off other things.
Marvin loves clowns, vampires, werewolves.
Garrett, somebody new comes up to you. They say, hey, I've seen these comic book things, but I want to start with something like brand new. What do you tell them? Like something not comic book that has years of continuity. They're scared of continuity like this guy was. He sees Batman or Detective Comics 983. What's it up to? 983.
Sure. 983.
And they're like, I'm not going to read 900 comics. You try to explain to them, you don't have to. They don't get it. They say, hey, what's something that just started? Or that is like I can catch up on. What do you tell them?
Does it have? Okay, it's not necessarily a series. I just thought it's a great mini.
Yeah, anything.
Was it called Snowblind by Boom Studios?
Yeah.
Snowblind. It's a 4-issue mini. I don't know who the creative team is, but it literally is. It takes place in Alaska. And it's a story about a boy, and it's about his family being involved with, like, they're part of the mafia, and him trying to run away. Like, not he's part of the mafia, but I meant like his family is.
Yeah. Isn't he a witness protection?
Their family's in witness protection. Basically, they get found out, and it's one of the most. It reminds me of Fargo, to be honest. I guess it's probably because of the snowy landscape, but it's like very eerie and like. It uses a lot of the art to tell what's happening. It doesn't really just say it. It's not like
Crime noir?
It's been a long time since I've read that book.
dude. It's on Hoopla.
Did you read it
New
again?
readers. No, I haven't. But like I'm going through all my comics again, like filing them.
Yeah.
And I always go through the old stuff and like, can I see those covers? I'm like, fuck yeah, it's so good.
Those covers were great.
That's definitely new reader
Do
friendly.
you know who the writer is?
It's Tyler. Let me look it up.
You know what's weird? I just figured out why there was an echo because this thing was way up louder than usually is, the headphones.
Oh,
My
really?
headphones are like extra sensitive, so I could hear the echo. Usually you guys don't hear it here because I cut it out, but I was hearing it. Snowblind, that's good. You actually made me think of. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it almost looks like the same creative team, art-wise at least, for, I think it's called Grass Kings.
By Matt Kent.
Yeah.
It's not by Matt Kent.
It's not Matt Kent? I thought it was.
Hold on.
You know what? Speaking of minis, you know what minis actually, I think, if you're going to try them, most of them are great, are the Mark Miller minis that have been coming out. Reborn, we have Huck, we have Chrononauts.
Yeah, honestly, Chrononauts may be one of the best ones.
Reborn, I just finished. Actually, really,
Written by
good.
Ollie Masters, art by Tyler Jenkins. I think Tyler Jenkins does the art for Grass Kings. I'm not sure.
Might be.
I can look.
Because I think it's the cover. The covers look a lot alike.
God,
Reborn, I thought was good. Jupiter's Legacy, we've talked about multiple times on this show. That's a good thing to jump on.
Circle.
And even that's like superhero based, so it's not even too far off from what you're used to. If you think of comics, a lot of people think superhero. You can go that way too. Or even other minis. God Country. I just finished that a couple weeks ago because I had not read the last issue. I read it. God, that last issue is so great.
It's awesome.
God, it's so good.
It's worth the $5.99 that you spend
is.
or whatever it was.
And then speaking of Donny Cates, if you go back with Buzzkill and Paybacks, you can go with those two. If speaking of like just other series, like let's say something that's completed already. I know you two love Why the Last Man.
Yes. Oh God.
Like that is very.
I mean, you're in for a ride. Like it'll definitely ease you into books, but man, it'll keep you in the freaking zone too.
If you're a fan of Lost, I would say it'd be a perfect fit for you because the producers of Lost read Why the Last Man. They said we got to get Brian Cave on, and that's when they asked him to be on the show, and from like season 4 and 5 and 6, I think that's when Brian K. Vaughan was working on Lost. So like they read that book and like we got to get that guy.
Yeah, it's such an incredible story.
Speaking of Brian K. Vaughan, you like what's the book of the animals? I totally just
Pride of Baghdad.
Pride of Baghdad, yes.
That's a Vertigo book. That's good. Sad.
Ex Machina is another book by Brian K. Vaughan. It's really great. I read their first trade. He also put out We Stand on Guard. I remember liking that.
I bought the hardcover. I haven't read it yet, though.
Oh, yeah? I remember liking it. But did you read it with us?
I haven't read it.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
The art
It's
was
got
great.
some Superman Easter eggs in there.
Yeah, it does. One character loves Superman. He has a tattoo, I think.
Perfect.
I was thinking We Three, which is by Grant Morrison and Quitely.
We Three, Grant Morrison. Grant Morrison, if you want to go into the realm of confusing for everybody. Not even like, I don't read comics and I'm confused. No, everybody. Nameless.
Nameless.
Annihilator.
You know what? I know you were confused. But I reread it. I reread it issue to issue.
Oh, really?
It makes more sense. It's like a Netflix binge. You need to read that whole fucking thing, else you'll be lost.
If you're a fan of David Lynch and like Surreal and all that, Grant Morrison, there you go.
Yeah.
Nameless, you can go get that.
Klaus, though.
Klaus
Klaus is a great intro, I think, for a new reader.
Go and get, Klaus is great.
Yeah.
Dan Morrow.
Great art. Story's easy to follow. I mean, there might be 3 pages of a trip, but, that's okay. You can get through it.
Happens to everybody.
It doesn't happen in the whole
powers,
series.
baby, Santa. Speaking of powers, I'm drinking some wine tonight because my dinner wine was postponed. So you guys now it's podcast wine. Is that how they put it in the stores?
Of course.
Dinner wine, podcast wine.
Of course. Work one.
Branching on for there, let's talk about something. Speaking of, you want to be something, some familiar with something. Hellboy. They're making a new movie about it. You can get to Hellboy. They just announced today that they're putting out omnibus editions, which are, I think, supposed to be a little bigger than library editions. To start from the beginning, they're going to start over and pump those out.
It's going to be in chronological order, which is nice.
That's what I'll probably want to get, because that's my whole thing with Hellboy. Is like, where the fuck do I start?
You know, but the one thing is that, I do like the chronological stuff, but you read it as a whole library edition, it was fine. Like, it's all still, it does mention, Seed of Destruction.
If you can find those, and I'm thinking maybe those will get cheaper because these are coming out. Those look great. I saw them on your shelf.
God, they're good.
Nice library binding. They're so good. Do they have one of those little ribbon things you can keep your spot?
I don't think they did.
If not, a book that does, Lock and Key. Great series.
Yeah.
You have
There's been a lot of casting news about that show lately.
Speaking of Stephen King, his son, Joe Hill, wrote a comic book with Gabriel Rodriguez. Yep. Yeah, Gabriel Rodriguez. They are making a show.
Give me the premise of that.
So here's the premise. There's a house that has been in his family. His dad dies. He gets murdered. So the single mom now with 3 kids, go and move into their dad's old house. It's a family house. They find in this house, there's a bunch of keys. And these keys each unlock a different type of power. But there's something evil that wants the keys too for their use. So it's a struggle between the kids getting the keys and this evil presence getting the keys too. So there's a certain key that makes them big, a key that makes them invisible, things like that.
Damn.
It's good. It's a real good story. So that's the overlay, all that kind of weird stuff. But it's really a story about these people getting over the death of their dad, or even the wife getting over her husband dying. She turns into an alcoholic. And, it's Joe Hill basically telling you the story of his dad was an alcoholic, and basically you see him how the kids deal with that, and that's Joe Hill.
Stephen King
deal with it. Yeah, Stephen King was an alcoholic.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he talks about it all the time.
Oh,
he said, I think it's Shining. He said he doesn't remember writing that book at all because he was so drunk.
Oh, really?
And
I love that book.
It's one of those two, but maybe Shining, some other book. Maybe it's Cujo, somewhere around there. We're not talking Stephen King. I don't know. BPRD. Speaking of Hellboy.
Yep.
It's great. I have 3 of them.
New reader, though, you think, would jump into that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think as long as you start on book 1.
If you like supernatural kind of stuff, speaking of even the show Supernatural, that's all it is. It's them doing kind of
cases.
Mysteries, or even in those, if you find any of those Hellboy little not minis, they have one shots and stuff like that. Yeah, those are great to pick up too.
The 1953, 52, 54, 55s. What a current ongoing book that I think is good for, I think it's a good new reader book, is Royal City.
Royal City? Because
it's not superhero related. It's about this family dealing with their dad being in the hospital in a coma, also living through the life of their dead brother. and how they perceive, how each sibling perceives them.
Jeff Lemire, AD. It's a 3-book. They're not
Scott
issues.
Snyder, you mean? I don't think that's new reader friendly at all.
I think so.
No way.
It's a contained story. You don't have to know anything besides those 3 issues.
Just because I had a hard time reading it.
But it's not new. Okay, if it's confusing as shit, and you're trying to read a comic like
I don't think it's that
artistically,
confusing. How's it confusing?
tell me what happens at the end.
I haven't even read it yet.
Yeah.
I haven't read issue 3.
I'm gonna spoil it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that hard.
It is. Oh my god.
Subject material, yeah, maybe it's not going to be like straightforward, but that doesn't mean that somebody new can't read it.
That's true, but it's so ambiguous that there's no way that a
Yeah,
comic.
but that's just the style of the writing. Doesn't mean you can't read it for the first time. Does that mean somebody?
Okay, then you can read any comic. You read Paper Girls, all those hard.
Yeah, you can read
no.
Paper Girls. No,
Bad.
this is saying that you can't go and read the last edition of like Lock and Key. Don't go read Volume 5. I'm not saying.
I know, but new readers, when they go into a book, they're not like, oh, give me the most confusing bits of the story.
But I think it's one of those things
But that's
that
a one to end. That's 3 issues.
I know, but you're talking new reader friendly. I'm thinking like someone who's never read
We're not
comics
saying
before.
simple. We're saying new reader. Like it.
It doesn't. Well, no, it should be
story in one
simple.
thing.
It needs to catch them. It doesn't need to make it super complicated. They're not
Shirtless
used to
bear
that.
fighter.
That would be a good one.
Shirtless Bear Fighter.
Just yell it over you too.
I'm just saying, like, a new reader's not going to go read something that's like AD. I think that's too strong a material to start a comic book reading on.
I think depending on what, but see now when I think of new reader friendly, it'd be like my sister reading a book who's 8 years older than I am. She's going to understand these things. To me, it's not worth saying, hey, this 5-year-old kid will read this book. Because, yeah, I wouldn't say AD. I'd be going, Shirtless Bear Fighter.
I don't mean like a new reader, like somebody learning to read.
No, but learning how to read comic books, it's
There
not
are
something
some
that
books
you
that
Well,
just
if anything, then AD is easier because it has prose in it. So like you're not
Straight.
actually reading
suppose,
straight up
but
comics.
But then you can say every issue 1 is a good place to new
Yeah.
reader friendly.
I think we talked about that last week.
Then what are we talking about here?
Well, we also
That's
talked
everything-
about- but-
read everything new
but we-
readers.
No,
but
but we're
we
talking
did-
about good recommendations.
But we
not
did talk
just-
about arcs. That's a good jumping on point. Marvin
Yeah.
is point right there. You got what, Giant Days and
No, Stray Bullets,
you go.
issue 37, I believe, and Astro City, the newest
I think I'm
one.
going to jump on Astro City. 47 too.
The one that came out this week is actually like a one-shot.
Yeah, it's like about
So
a dog.
it's
or
about a
whatever.
super dog, yeah.
Yeah.
So I saw it and I was like, hey, let's jump back
I thought about getting it. I was like, yeah, I don't need it.
in. Yeah, so let's see what else we have here. There's another one I want to talk about.
Tokyo
Oh,
Ghost. Criminal.
Criminal is like amazing. Like, if you want to talk about what you're talking about, it's, Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips has said specifically that they make their comics easy to follow for new people. So, because I guess their books are very popular in like prisons and stuff like that. So they like
Okay.
they think that audience is like simpler. That's what he said.
But to be fair,
Yeah.
it is simpler. He always puts the
The panel works.
The panel's
laid
not
out.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's more it. Like the panel work. If the panel work's crazy, that's more new reader, less friendly.
today one of the books we
80's not
are
that
going
crazy
to talk
panel
about.
works.
I actually got
saying-
mixed up. I read the wrong thing.
80s like Inception. You got to read that book like 5 times
Well,
to
agree
figure
to
out what the
disagree.
fuck's going on. I want you to list for me what happens in that last graphic novel.
I'm going to write a review. I'll write a review.
Do it. I want to see it.
What were you saying? I'm sorry.
I don't even remember.
Criminal. You can do Criminal, Fade Out, any of their books
Kill or
together.
Be Killed.
Kill or Be Killed. Any of
Dude,
those
Criminal
books.
is so good. I wish that book would come back.
Criminal is something though. Pick up any volume. It's fine. Like
Yeah.
they're all self-contained in the
Self-contained
volume,
stories.
so you don't have to read from one to the end. Fade Out is
12 issues.
12 issues, 2 trades, so you can get that. It's about
I think
old
it's actually
Hollywood.
one big book as well. One collected book.
If you like that game, LA Noir, which they just announced is coming out for PS4 and Xbox, what's it called now? One? That are like remaking it or re-releasing it. If you like that game, Fade Out. It's basically, that's what it is about. Old Hollywood detectives. Not detectives, they're writers, but they're figuring out a crime.
1950s.
19...
I think it's 50s or 60s.
I think it's 50s.
Okay.
Preacher and Northlanders is really good. If you're into like historical comics, look for Brian Wood comics. Northlanders, he has a new one coming out that is about the American Revolution. What's it called? God, I was just about that's an issue I was going to pick up instead of Stray Bullets. And I had them right next to each other. And I read the first 2 pages of each and I go, okay, whichever one grabs me more I'm going to get. And Stray Bullets did. So I was like, oh, I'm going to get this one instead. How can you not? Stray Bullets. Here's the setup for Stray Bullets. They're just, I think it's like Criminal, but it's more shorter arcs. And they're about whatever criminals. That's what I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that. We'll see when I read it. But the first 2 pages are just people like psyching themselves up to do a robbery. And they one puts on a pig mask, the other one I forgot what they had on. And she's like, okay, let's do this. Oink, oink, can they go in? And they're just like, everybody get on the ground, all this stuff. And like, that's like, boom, that'll grab you right away. And I read recently an interview with, who was it? Oh, Brian Kivan. I was reading the beginning of a new trade I started reading on Hoopla. And he said that it used to be back in the day that people would give you an arc and be like, okay, I'm going to see if I'm going to be into this book after the arc. He says, you don't even have that anymore. He says, the only thing you have right now for somebody to try something brand new out of the box, not really us, we give stuff more of a chance, but I do know this is true. Some people, he said, you have one page, that first page, because people go to the shop, they look at the first page. Do I want this or do I not want this? Do I like the art? Does it grab me? Stuff like that.
Well, then you're fucked over by Marvel. You turn the page, it's an ad right away.
Well, I think the thing for us, though, is that we go by team. We go by writer. We go by artist. We go by something other than just the first.
But when you start, like I didn't start that way. You learn eventually. You know, same thing with you.
True.
And did you same way? I assume with you.
Yeah.
Like you're like, who do I?
Garrett
like?
knew everything.
What looks interesting? No. You're not like going to the comic book shop for the first time. And be like, where's Grant Morrison at? No, I don't think you know who Grant Morrison is. He's not that big outside of comics, so like you're not gonna. But maybe you'll go in and be like, oh, I've heard of Saga. Where's Saga at? So stuff like that. So you go in, you like figure out what genre you want to get into, and then type in sci-fi comics or something like that and find out what you want to get. That's a nice, good list. I think it's a good list. Start there, especially with AD. I'm just kidding. We'll agree to disagree. I'm going to write up something about that last issue you.
I want a fucking map of that third trade. And if it's not perfect, you're
You know what I was thinking about? So here's a little inside baseball for this podcast audience.
Nobody likes that reference.
Huh?
Nobody likes that reference. Inside baseball.
What do you mean? You know what inside baseball means?
Yeah.
Once you taught it to us. Before I remember
I've never talked to him about it.
One of our first episodes, you explained what inside baseball means to us.
What, the inside baseball of your head?
Wow.
It's a fucking football. Dumbass.
We used to do written reviews, and then we discussed the podcast, and these guys like the podcast more, so we stopped doing written reviews. I've had an inkling to write a lot recently. I've been writing my stuff like personally, but like I want to write on the site again, so I think I'm going to start writing up pieces. So I'll write one for you. AD number 3, not a review. I'll write like 80.
What the fuck happened?
Yeah, I'll write some sort of like essay.
All right, explain that to me, and if I like it more than what I fucking understood in that trade, I'll buy you a beer.
More importantly, if our listeners can tell us.
That doesn't matter to me.
You heard it here first.
I mean, you matter to me, fans, but I want to know what the fuck happened to that third trade.
Yeah, send us a voicemail, 605-215-1849, or send us an email at Wednesday. It's on Twitter, at Wednesday Comics, or email WednesdayComics605@gmail.com. You know what I heard? This guy told me somebody's writing up a email for us. What book was it about? About the Nth Metal.
About Nth Metal, yeah. He said the theory. Well, he's involved heavily with, he was really big into chemistry, and Nth has no designation.
Drug maker.
Hey, he listens to the show, so you just called him a drug maker. He doesn't make drugs.
That's fine. I got called a schmuck by someone before. I called him out on that too.
What's up, Sam? Throwing a shout out to Sam. But basically, it doesn't have a designation. Like, yes, we know that 1 through 8th, what kind of metal it is, but Nth could be unlimited potential. Otherwise, why they just call it fucking 9th?
All right. But I did send you that thing saying that it was called the 9th Metal. But
you did send that. But I talked to somebody that actually uses Nth in equations.
But it came from Wikipedia, so I know he would shoot it down right away because it's not a source. He told me. It's not a source.
You shut it down?
Oh. He doesn't like Wikipedia.
I'll read Wikipedia, but you have to actually go to the source material and make sure that's credited, because Wikipedia, anybody can edit the page. So
yeah, that's why you have a page up there right now.
So we need to find the DC source book back here. I'll look through it and find out what that Nth
No, you
is.
can. You know how there's like they always state facts on Wikipedia, and there's a little number, and you just look at that and click on that.
I'm gonna find the source that's right there. So
Jesus, giraffe.
Let's talk about some books. We got a nice list of books that look good books this week.
Great.
Walking Dead 178. Was that correct?
171.
I'm 7 ahead.
It's 170.
He's excited for 200.
You want to know what happens in 7 months? 171 written by Robert Kirkman. Art by Charlie Aldred.
Adler. Charlie Adler.
Oh, Adler. Yeah, that's what it is. I wrote the wrong thing in the script then. Because I didn't understand what you were saying at all.
Adlard, Charlie Adler.
This is the issue. Let me make a confession real quick. So I haven't read the last 4 issues. I've been going on what's on the covers, and so like I was looking at it, I was like, so like for weeks there, I've been like, oh, what's happening in this book when we do the forecast, and I don't know what's going on. So now I actually am caught up, and you know what? So I was reading this book, and I'm thinking, and I don't like to. If you like the show, that's fine. If people like the show, I know certain people who like the show and they like it for certain reasons. I'm not saying it's bad; it's just not for me. I didn't watch all last season. I'm not even sure if that season got better.
Halfway through was kind of boring.
I only bring it up a lot because it's very comparable, because they're the same, basically using the same material, but they're telling it in different ways. The thing I like about that book is that all these people feel like real. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Rick is reacting. So there's a part in this, in an issue that happened a while ago, 4 issues ago, where Negan settled the fight, and he went in front of Rick, and Rick's like, "Oh, let him do it." And he let it, like, it felt like natural. It was like, yeah, okay, he's trying to see if Negan, he's like, be ready though. He's trying to see if Negan is trustworthy now. And he was for that instance. And he was like, hey, follow Negan, just make sure he's okay. Like he's not trying to pull something. And they showed Negan out there in alone. And he's just this lonely guy now who like lost like the only power he had in this world. And now he's just out there by himself. And like, I don't know, something about that feels really real. And I feel like, also there's a part where Carl's going to leave. I'm not sure if this is all going to wash together for me because I read 4 in a row. Carl's leaving for the hilltop, and he goes to tell his dad, and he says like, "No, it's all right. You're going to grow up. You're going to be a man." Where I feel like in the show that would be like an argument
Carl,
for like 3 issues.
No, Carl.
You can't be safe, Carl. Like it's like where they use unnecessary character traits just to make a conflict. Whereas in the book, it feels like, okay, Rick understands, like, this dude, this fucking
he's grown up.
Carl's he's more than an adult.
Right.
He's at that age, he's more of an adult than Rick was when the zombie apocalypse happened. This guy's lived through a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And when he talks about how he killed that kid that one time because nobody wanted to kill a kid, but they knew that kid. So this kid stabbed another kid because he
that was from like way back when too, and that fucking blew
that's
my
what I love
mind,
about this book too, this continuity.
Yeah.
Like if you want to, like if you're looking for something, if you really like callbacks, like this whole thing is Robert Kirkman's amazing.
Because I thought it was Tyrese. Oh fuck.
So there's a kid, he stabbed another kid, and
how long ago was this?
At least 100 issues.
Around,
yeah, when they were in the jail.
Tyrese dies in what, 48?
So
I've probably read to that point.
So he killed the kid because he didn't understand, like, he didn't think it was real, like all this stuff. He's like, obviously, if you're a kid seeing all that shit, you don't know what's happening. He stabbed another kid, and they were all worried this kid's like crazy, and he's going to kill somebody else in the middle of the night because he doesn't know what's going on. So they locked him in the RV, and they all knew they had to kill him because there's no way he's ever going to be safe with anybody. There's no way they could ever feel safe sleeping with this kid. And Carl said, well, if they don't feel right killing a kid, I'm a kid, so it should be okay for me to kill that kid. And he went in there and he killed it, and nobody ever knew what happened. Like he said, they blamed it on Tyrese.
Yeah.
And then he talks about how he told Rick right away. Rick's, they had to talk about it. Rick they never told anybody else. And then one day he told Andrea about it. And they broke down and cried. She said, "I love you." Like she realized the sacrifice, basically gave up his childhood to make sure that they were safe. Like that's when he became an adult. He killed this fucking kid for the team. Not for the team, for this group.
Right.
And like that's when he started calling her mom because he finally saw like how much she cares for him and how much understanding she was like as a person. And like even like that moment alone, I was like, that shit's super dark, but that's the time we're living in this book. Mm. And it just feels like something that like I don't see from that show. Like I don't see these little subtle character moments where he's like, that's really when I like started loving this person as my mom. And that moment in that book, I was just like, because there's a lot of times when I'm reading that book, I told you, like, I was flying through those compendiums, and I think one time I texted you too. There's an issue a while back when they were in the jail, when somebody was like, I think about killing myself every single day. I just know I think about, like, what's the point of living in this world? I know already, like, when I die, I'm going to become a zombie. I don't want to become a zombie. And all I'm doing is counting the days till I die, till something happens to me one day, and I get bit, I get shot, something happens to me. It's not exactly what they say, but that's what I remember. But basically they're saying, hey, I'm just waiting to die. Like, there's nothing for us to do. We're living in a jail right now. And like, that's so fucking depressing. Like, when you see all this, like that show, like when you see that show, people when they talk about the show, they're like, oh, that'd be so cool to be in that. Like, they always come up with these zombie apocalypse, like missions or like their escape plans, all this stuff. And then when you read that in that book, and then when I see this thing now about Carl, it reminds you that this is like, these people are real, like in the story, and like this is what would happen. It's not fun in games. Mm-hmm. Like that one girl, we get introduced to a new character called Princess.
Right.
She talks about she hasn't met somebody or talked to somebody in a whole year.
Yeah. Everybody's
gone from Philadelphia.
Which I really loved her as a new character. I think she's great.
Yeah, I like her too.
That was awesome. Like, it's, this late in the game, you don't think that a new character is really going to captivate you, but like,
she's very different than the rest of them.
Everyone.
I found that so refreshing. I was like, when you said, hey, there's a new character in this book, and I saw the cover, and I was like, okay, hopefully she's not the same, like, cliche, whatever, and it's breath of fresh air. Like, I was like, how do you bring up a new person? She feels like, because we don't have that many, like, teenager. She's a teenager, right? She seems like she's young, at least 20s. Really
designate, but
she's younger.
Yeah.
Because she has, like, purple hair, and she, like, wears a fur coat and stuff like that, and she, like, talks a lot. She's kind of like, very fast talking, like young person. And we don't have that type of character in this book. So I felt refreshing to be like, oh, cool. And she like jokes a lot. So much so that last joke, she almost killed herself over just telling a joke.
Right.
Because she showed up.
She was getting on Michonne's nerves like you wouldn't believe. It was hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it has things like that that's like, this is funny. Like I thought it was funny. Her character.
Yeah.
And still, but it's like nerve-wracking because I'm like, is she really going to turn on them, or is she really that like, just like, I haven't talked to anybody, I'm sorry I'm talking so much, and like playing these jokes because she's just like lonely, or is she really like gonna ambush them with people?
Right.
So you have that, and then you have like
beginning of the issue. Huge critical moment is between. Well, I don't know if I want to give the spoiler, but something huge happens between Eugene and Dante. That's where the issue opens up.
Oh, that was the moment too.
Yeah.
I was gonna say. So, we'll spoil it.
Okay.
Is it Dante? I thought it was Sakid or something.
Oh, it was Siddiq. Sorry. I was thinking Dante for some reason.
So, Eugene and Rosita were a couple. She was pregnant, right?
Yeah, but Eugene was not the father.
She goes, you're not the father. I had this one moment with another guy, whatever. But I didn't love him. It was just the thing. And he goes, oh, okay. He forgave her, and then she died. So then... Eugene saved Siddiq's life, and he's like, I have to tell you this. Like, I can't keep it in anymore. Rosita loved me. Like, we were going to run off together, and like, she really loved me. And Eugene has the flashback to her being like, I didn't really love him. It was just a one-time thing. And you can tell, like, he's getting fucking mad. He was like, no, she didn't love you. He starts to say it. And that's the part where I thought, in the show, this would be like 3 issues of them not liking each other, fighting, and like, it's another conflict just to have. But then Eugene goes, you know what, man? It's okay. Like, and he goes, I guess she might not have had good taste in that, and they both laugh about it and they hug it out because he realizes, like, what's the fucking point? Yeah. We're all like gonna be dead. And I saw that and I was like, yes, because Eugene's smart enough to know what's the point.
Yeah.
Like, what am I gonna get mad about? She's gone already, she's dead. Like, I've already dealt with that. Obviously, I can tell, like, he's crying his eyes out. You can tell it's tons of tears. He cared about her too. Like, what am I going to do? Fight with this guy? And I love that you have that non-cliche moment that he's like, yeah, I'm smart enough. We're not going to fight about this. It's over already. You're like, okay. And they move on from it. That's all it was. It was like one page. One page. And
it's like something, it's like an understanding between the men. It's like, we know what happened, but we don't need
I feel like that's more real life than the constant, like, a fight and then... Because, like, there's those cliches that happen in every story. Something happens where one guy doesn't tell the whole group, and it turns out to be a disaster later on. He just should have fucking told them. And, like, that when you see that happen, and you're like, okay, just tell them.
Yeah.
And then it's the same thing where, like, two people have a fight, and they have a fight, obviously, where you're like, come on, man, just, like, you're out there fighting zombies. Is it really that much of a beef that you're going to be like, oh, no, she loved me. She's dead. Get over it. Like, not get over it, like, in terms of, like, your feelings or, like, her being a person, but, like, Eugene was like, it's already done with. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I thought that was great. I love this whole issue. Like we've been talking about, Walking Dead's been on a roll since after All Out War.
All Out War.
Like, it's been so good.
And people don't appreciate it because they want it to be like the show. I think one of the cherries on top of this issue was the letters page. Basically, Robert Kirkman gives, I mean, it's not the biggest essay ever, but he explains how George Romero, who passed away recently, is this like hero. And that, you're talking about, we always talk about letters pages that are really good. Letter Hacks is not only really great, it's funny as shit all the time, but it does like, that passage from Robert Kirkman was probably one of the most inspiring. Like, it makes me want to go watch all 6 of George Romero's zombie movies.
I was going to bring that up too because I love Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead's my favorite. I love Day of the Dead.
Is that the one of them all?
No, that's Dawn of the Dead.
That's Dawn. Okay.
Day of the Dead's where they have like a smarter zombie and they're underneath in a bunker, and they're trying to teach it to like be not a pet, but like so that way they can maybe control zombies. They keep trying to figure that out. But even reading that, being like how much he looked up to him, it's the reason why he started the comic. It's the reason why he kept going. And even at one point, George Romero like dismissed the Walking Dead TV show. Was like, that's just a soap opera. Like, I'm not really into it. It's not really my thing. And Ron Kirkman was like, who gives a shit? Like, I love him still the same. The dude made the zombie genre what it is today. He can say that he doesn't like it. Because guess what? It is a soap opera. And he goes, and even if he said it was horrible, he goes, I even would have been like, yeah, you're right. Like, but he goes, because that's basically he created the whole thing, so he has a right to say what's good and what's not in this genre. So yeah, it was really touchful.
He said if you're a Walking Dead fan, you're a George Romero fan. Yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah, those movies are great. Night of the Living Dead is what do you call it? It doesn't have a copyright. It's royalty free. It ran out. There used to be a thing where if you did after 60 years, copyright ran out, so it's free for everybody to use. So you can actually watch it for free on YouTube. It's a good movie.
I give this issue a 10.
Yeah.
I have to. It's been on so good. 10.
10.
It deserves a 10.
Yeah. It's way far in, but I would say try to start reading the
You could start at Compendium 3 technically gets the time jump, right? Or no, maybe at the next compendium you could jump on.
You know what's weird? We talked about a few weeks ago, finding people who read comics. Walking Dead's always in the top 10, but I don't hear anybody talking about it.
Maybe they think it's too far gone.
But even like in the internet, even on the internet, like I don't really see anybody like constantly talk about it. When something happens, obviously I see people talking about it. When Andrea died a couple issues ago, people were talking about it, but nobody's ever being like, whenever they say, hey, what's your top 5 favorite books? I never see Walking Dead in there. And I think it's creeping up there for me. Might be number 5. It was actually at one point in time in my top 5.
Really good.
And I think All Out War was kind of like, I think it was trying to be too much like the show during that time. But right after that, he went back to like, let's go back to characters. Let's go back to just being about these people trying to survive rather than an action kind of story. And it's great.
I'm going to give it a 10, even though I didn't read it. But you know what I did read?
That's something I think like...
I think I would get into it. It's just I'm so far behind, and I am a person that I do want to read the whole thing. Because like you said, they do callbacks.
Not necessarily, but this is probably the first callback in a long ass time.
So
to anything,
it's definitely building to people's characters. Like the Rick we have today is because of all the stuff that's happened to him.
Yeah.
So it's nice seeing
these characters have evolved. This book has never stopped. So it's one of those things you almost need to start at one just so you can get the gist. I'm not saying bind every issue. I'm saying get those compendiums and then get caught up.
Well, like the Rick Lidding, Negan talk and like, hey, let him do it. Is the Rick that understood at a certain point he's not always right. So like maybe somebody else can take care of this. And that kind of happened when he got injured and stuff like that. And he's like let other people do other stuff. Like I don't have to do everything anymore. So it's kind of like you see an evolution of character, but I don't think you would still understand what's going on, but I don't think you'd understand the meaning behind
his
everything.
demon and stuff. Yeah.
You know what I did get this week though was Daredevil number 26, written by Charles Soule, art by Ron Garney, colors by Matt Mila. What'd you guys think?
Why don't you tell us? We were talking a while.
Yeah, I know. All I heard was a lot of jabber. But the weird thing is that I never know where to start when talking about these books. I just kind of go, oh, this is what happened.
How'd you like Ron Garney being back in the book?
Awesome. Actually, made me want to stay in the book.
Really? I didn't think his art was as strong as it usually is.
It's better than that garbage we had on 25.
That's true. It's better than that. But I still thought, compared to like what I've seen in the past, I don't think it was his greatest work.
I think there wasn't that much flashy stuff he was doing with this issue, but I think it was, it's still better than what you've been seeing.
Yeah.
Definitely Foggy looks like he's back in his age range rather than being 85 years old.
Yeah, Jesus.
Now he actually looks like he's like 30-something, which he's supposed to be.
I like that they keep the continuity of the red suit. Like, I thought they were going to fucking ditch that right away.
I like that we get a story about... Daredevil's a big character about guilt. So we have a story where Blind Spot sends him a letter saying, I need your help. And he's talking to Foggy about it. And he goes, it's probably a trap. He goes, it might be a trap or he might need help. But he feels so guilty about what he did to Blind Spot by like not training him properly. Now he got his eyes cut out and all this stuff. That he's like, I got to go. Like, I have to. And you see that in him that he's thinking like, yeah, I know it's probably a trap, but
I'm going to do it anyway.
I got to be on the ground. Like, I got to do this thing. I have to make up for what happened. And that's his Catholic guilt.
And it sounds like he's been doing it for a while because he swings by Chinatown, talks to Blind Spot's sister.
Oh, yeah, that too. It's part of his guilt.
For, like, they all leave Blind Spot
Yep.
letters.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's what Blind Spot had done, is to go solve crimes and problems in Chinatown. That Daredevil feels he has to go do it just to keep that spirit of Blind Spot
He's
alive.
like, yeah, he feels guilty about that too, because he's like, he made Blind Spot, he trained him and told Chinatown basically, here's your hero, he's going to take care of you. And then he's not there anymore, so he's like, I have to take care of them now. But luckily, his last, the last arc, he did that thing where superheroes can testify now. So for right now, the rest of the city's quiet. No real big villains are out anymore. So he had, you know what, he did accomplish something. Maybe for right now, we'll see what happens. But I thought that was like, for me, that made the last arc kind of worth it because I was like, okay, this is different now. Like now he's like,
or it makes it okay for him to leave the States.
Yeah, he's like, I can leave because everybody's not doing anything. Maybe when I get back, something will be going on, he says. But right now, he goes, I solved the crime for right now. Yeah, I thought it was a nice setup issue. Like, really nothing happened. So I don't think we saw the Rod Garney. Oh, there was the part with the shooting stars.
Yep. With
I like that
the
part.
shurikens.
The art of that
Question.
What's it called?
Shurikens?
Oh, really? Okay.
That was Shuriken.
Oh, I always call it shurikens. Hadouken? Is the hand always dead? I thought, because then I realized the TV show or Netflix TV show probably isn't the most correct, but I always thought that they were controlling their heartbeat or they're masking it better. They're dead. They're dead in this.
Oh, I thought in the show
realm.
they were dead too.
Oh, I didn't know if they were dead.
Oh,
I have no idea.
I believe since I've been reading them, they were.
Okay.
I don't know for sure though, because
then how does he fight them? He can't hear their heartbeats.
Their weapons. You can hear their swords. You can hear their
just the gear moving around on them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Smell.
Or maybe
Stinky.
it's like it's
Dead.
too quiet. That's how he knows they're there.
A little too rap.
Yeah.
Avoid.
I thought it was good. I mean, like you said, nothing really happened, but they were nice part. You know what I thought about this issue when I kept reading it? I was like, Charles Soule must be Alex's favorite writer in one aspect. Very logical. He's like, I can't bring this suit through customs. Mail it over there. I was like, that little part, I was like, he thought that through. I was like, I guarantee you that pleases Alex a lot because he's like, of course he's not going to bring it through. If you would have brought it through, I guarantee you we would have been talking. Alex, I'm like, how do you bring it through customs? They don't notice that shit through the x-ray machine? So like he thought about that. And like, that's something I think about the last arc that at least I had an issue with it. It was like too logical in the legal stuff that I was like, I don't know what's going on. Obviously it's real. I know he's a lawyer. So all this legality stuff, I know is correct, but it's nice when he takes that and applies it to superhero stuff. Cause I'm like, okay, now he's making what's a little fantastical, a little bit more real. Cause like, yeah, ship it. But it got there before he did. How fast is that
I
shipping?
know that's a little. That's some severe overnight.
Hey, maybe he'd let Foggy pay for it.
My one question I had is that and this is me being logical, now in Arkham Asylum, when you're in the caves, you can't shoot your grapnel gun and it can't grab anything because the
Foundation
breaks. Yeah, the foundation's too weak. I don't know what DD does, but he must have wrapped his grapple around and just jumped off the cliff.
Oh,
How'd that shit not break?
There's probably some tree he lodged onto.
Lame. Bugged me.
I'm excited to see where this goes.
Yeah.
When they got to China, I like the art in China, like the hills and stuff and the fog.
The weird. You go from the city, then you turn it to he's looking at the mountain, and he's in China. So
Yeah.
that's it. It was really looked good.
That was a good 2-page spread.
Yeah.
The Avatar scene. You see that?
I think I give it an 8.
Yeah, I'll go there.
I'd probably say 7. Just because there wasn't a lot of exposition, like you said. It was great to have Ron Garney back, but again, I wasn't wowed by his art. And the story, like, they make Blind Spot seem like a big effing deal. I never liked Blind Spot.
But Blind Spot's got his eyes now.
Oh yeah,
Blind Spot has
Showed up
eyes.
at the last page. He has eyes now. Blue.
He's got blue or white eyes.
Again,
Dead.
don't give a shit.
That's why I didn't hear him coming.
Don't give a shit.
I like that. I like the.
It's a nice callback to what.
Well, I like when it says when he used to. You mean the 2 first arcs?
There were
literally 8 issues ago.
There was some miswording that bugged me. That was like he used to be this way, or it's like he's not dead.
Yeah,
it was something that bugged me, like everything else.
I like the mentee story, so it's cool.
To be fair, I could have given 2 shits about Blind Spot to begin with, but if you're gonna make this character, you might as well let him be in the book.
Hey, did he also have a sister? Oh, I just forget about her.
I forgot about.
I thought he had a mom.
I knew the mom, but mom's the one who took him to China.
Yeah.
So his sister must be a new character that we're supposed to be like, oh, she was around the whole time.
Yeah.
I guess he did say he never cared about, like, he never took care of me while he was here. So maybe it is the first time, but I don't know how Daredevil knows about her then.
Daredevil knows about everything. He knew to mail his suit.
God. Well, I have no good transition for this. So next is 7 to Eternity, written by Rick Remender, drawn by Jerome Opeña, and colored by Matt Hollingsworth. The conclusion to the second arc of this story. We haven't had Jerome Opeña for 2 issues.
There you go.
As Alex Smith busted me this morning at the shop, or yesterday at the shop, because I thought that he's been gone for fucking ever. I decently enjoyed this issue. So much so that I wish the last 2 issues never happened. I get their setup for continuing story, but we'll get to a part in the letter pages coming up soon after we're talking about the book itself. Alex didn't read it.
I won't read.
That pissed me off. So
I love that shotgun that Adam has, or whatever gun it is
with the nails.
Yeah,
of his family.
I didn't understand what the Hydra nails were. If that was a pet or if that's just some spirity thing that he shoots at. Where'd that guy come from?
His ancestors.
The weird balloony guy.
He was up there. He was
he already
spying
there?
on him. Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the spirits of his ancestors.
Okay.
So he can channel them. I thought this was a really good issue bringing back, because like the last time we had them, he betrayed his party at the time, like left that lady in the swamp drowning. Took off with the Mud King. Got a Whispers. What's his other name? He has 3 names now.
It's like Garrels.
Took off with him because he's like, hey, I can cure you. He's like, all right, let's go.
Let's do this.
Take off. Springs? In the springs? Is all? Okay. I like to say to you, like, oh, is he good? Is he bad? Is he, like, he must be bad now if he's going to be doing that. And this whole issue was about, there's no bad or good. Like, there's about, what do you want and what do you need? Like,
I totally connected with the Mud King.
Yeah, dude, Mud King's fucking great.
He's like, dude, he goes, you think people are good until you can read their mind, then you realize they're doing everything for their own selfish needs. And so that's like, we learned that a lot of these people that he's controlling now that accepted his offer aren't accepting his offer because he somehow tricked them. No, he's telling them, he's like, oh yeah, you think that person's good? Here's what they think about it. It's like, I can read their mind. He's like, nobody's good. Do stuff for yourself. Like, do something for yourself. That's all this is in the world, is finding something, whatever you want, and getting it. And that's how he got through to Adam. He's like, I can save you. And Adam's fighting him, being like, no, there's good people in this world. My dad Zeb told me there's good, like, I have a code I have to follow. Meanwhile, he's thinking, be like, yeah, I am being selfish. Like, I'm going to cure myself, and I went on this mission. It's all been for me. It's not been about my family. Even though I keep saying I'm doing this for my family, it's not. And I thought it was a real good issue about, because we were leaving on those questions, bad or good, black or white. And it's like, no, it's just all gray. Like, people are doing stuff because they're on a journey to help themselves, not because they're doing something to be good or do something to be bad. He even says, like, you think I'm so evil? I've been saving all these people, but I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to call out and be like, I say all these people all the time. I save them. He goes, I save them because I want to save them. I'm not going to put that out there. He goes, what's the point of being charitable if I'm being loud about it? He goes, then it's the opposite thing. I don't want to do it because I want attention. And also, he goes, nobody would believe me. They think I'm so evil. They would think I'm making it up. So what's the point? He goes, I'm not going to change the narrative. That's what they think. I'm just going to do it because I want to do it. So you see, like you said, I kind of like this guy now. But also, like, at the end, he was like, is he lying to me? Is he telling?
That's the whole point. He's very cunning. He's very charming.
I still imagine he's a bad guy, but he brings out valid points.
He does, yeah.
He said everyone's bad in their own aspect. And when he goes, I've saved more people than I've killed, it's just you guys notice the bad stuff I've done.
And it really brings out that question. Like, I love when a comic ends and I'm still thinking about it. It's like, really when you think about it, is there anything that anybody does just to be a good person? Or just to be like, do something pure out of pure evil? Or is it always driven, like he said, out of being like, what do I want? What's my selfish need on this? I do believe there is good people, but I also do believe in the back of their head that are like, I'm doing this because like I want to appear good, or I'm doing this because like, I think it's the right thing to do, or like they might be religious and like it's like, oh, I have like this is what my religion tells me to do, or like there's always a different reason, and not just being, hey, I'm just doing this because like I want to be a good person, and that's what he brings up. And I was like, he goes, that's probably most likely what's happening. Like he's like, so why not? You're coming to save yourself. Let's save yourself then. And then there's that action scene at the end, which is amazing with the opinions art.
Holy fuck.
You know what I realized also? This art, and the reason why, like, the last 2 issues, I like that guy's art on Rumble.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it'd fit this, and I figured out why. Because opinions art makes this book feel like an epic, makes it feel like a sci-fi fantasy epic. And then the last one kind of felt like it was a smaller story.
Constricted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but when you see this, when he goes into the town, and you see all this like weird creatures, these buildings and stuff like that, it feels like this thing's huge.
Well, when they're crossing that bridge to the weird mushroom psychedelic thing, there's just one whole big panel of just them walking across this bridge that is huge.
And the character designs, and the like their clothing and stuff like that, it all feels like real epic, and it's like that's what I felt when I first read this series. Like I was like, man, this thing's huge. Like the possibilities, like it seems like bigger, like a huge comic. And then when the last 2 issues, it kind of felt smaller.
Well, see, this is where I'm going to go into letters page. He's like, our next arc, we're going to take a 4-month break to make sure that basically Jerome Opini can do the whole arc. I'm like, why don't we do that in the fucking first place? Because, I get that you can have guest artists. Like, it's okay. Like, Black Hammer does it. But at least they fucking warn us, tell us that they're going to do it. Not just like, here's the next issue. Guess what? You get this artist.
Well, I think it's weird coming from an Image book and having Rick Remender have done so many books that he's always had the same artist, that for him to take this, it was a weird stop sign to have for 7 and 8.
And I was telling Alex, those journal entries only happen on Jerome Opinia's issues. They have not happened in those last 2 issues.
Well, I was going to say, it did feel like that the last 2 issues were something he was like, Opinia was falling behind. He's like, I got to put something in between and get somebody else to draw them. And then in the journal, he talked about all the stuff that happened. And I was like, I'm pretty sure those would have been the actual issues that we got.
Yeah.
And this would have been, like, this still would have been the last issue of his arc, but we would have seen their journey from point A to point B. We missed the middle part.
Yeah, which sucks.
We just saw them at the destination and from when he left the swamp.
Right.
Which this whole thing's been about, like, journeys to certain places. So, like, it felt weird that, we're already there? Like, that's never happened in this book before. So I was...
And you brought up the battle at the end, which was fucking sweet. When Zeb shows up.
Oh, yeah, that too.
When Adam's dad shows up and it's like, how does he says Gerald's or whatever the fuck. Let's email Rick Remender and say, how do you say that name? But he goes up to G and says,
Mud King?
G. Yeah. Yeah. And then he's like, Zeb. And they like have like a mutual understanding. And at that moment, I'm like, because like the Mud King considered Zeb a friend, it's just his soldiers got carried away and killed him, to be totally honest. So his son, like, is that the Mud King's son, the red dude?
Yeah, flute player.
Yeah. So it seems like they had a mutual respect for each other, and because he's the only one that said no to him. So.
And then how about that moment when whoever they're fighting at the end,
the White Witch is what I've been calling her.
It's like telling Zeb, he's like, no, I'm trying to save your family. Like Adam betrayed you guys. He goes, if you try to, you're not going to kill another one of my sons. And she kills him. And he turns around. Then he sees him, and he's like, I'm sure you know what you're doing or whatever. But you can see that Adam's like calling out for his dad. His dad goes away because he's like, he sees his dad was disappointed. And like, you talked to him. He can see that he listened to his offer and he's going with it. And so it's that once again, like his dad's like, he always wanted him to do good. And now he sees that he did something selfish and went with the Mud King. But like, does he really want to do good things, or does he want to make his dad happy and like do what his dad would have did? It's not really that he wanted to do good things. So it's very, very, this is kind of the Rick Remender that I want. Like I love, like Deadly Class, all this stuff. It's not just about like what's happening on the page; it's about other stuff too. And I think this issue really showed that, and it makes me want to keep getting it. But the last 2 issues were just basically what's on the page. No really subtext.
It was like an annual, basically, which was unfortunate.
So I will continue to get this book, providing Opinions on the art.
Yeah. And I think I like this A story more than all those other people. Like, I knew who they are. We've talked about them
fine, but I'd rather have half an A. I'd have an AB rather than a whole 2 issues of B.
Yeah. Yep. Especially when I feel like we went straight into B after like 1 or 2 issues where they all came together and we just met them. And then it's like, oh, here's a story about them. And I was like, but I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
I don't know who any of them are.
Well, it was a weird split because in 6 they go to the swamp and that's where Javalia is drowning.
Yeah.
And it's this team effort to get through it. And then Mud King makes the offer to Adam, let's go to this other town. Why, like you said, why would you bring the team together just to split them up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still don't know who the rest of their names are. I only know Adam's Ebb.
I have no clue. Sometimes people show up and that's part of the other team, and I'm like, were they there the whole time, or is it somebody new? Yeah. And then they'll talk to somebody like they know them. I was like, okay, they must be around.
Yeah,
I don't know who they are. There's like 2 characters. I can't even tell you what they do or what they look like, but I know there's 2 characters. When I see them, I'm like, I thought that was one person, and they're 2 people.
Well, they've already killed my favorite character, Drawbridge.
He showed up in 1 issue.
He's still alive.
Yeah, he showed up in like the last issue.
No way.
Yeah, he was he's being held in some...
The T-Rex guy?
Yeah,
he's being
still
alive.
alive.
He's still alive.
No way.
Yes.
All right.
He got captured.
Then I'm still in. I love this book.
This was a 9 for me.
Yes,
I really
9.
liked it a lot.
Yeah, I'd give it a 9. 9 for
that
9.
final fight scene was great.
Holy shit, that was like A New Hope.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan.
Well, no,
Darth.
that wasn't quite that, but
I feel like, where are we told
I don't like Star
history.
Wars.
I don't like you.
A comic book look was on the show a couple issues ago, like a month ago, and we had Tom read the last issue, and he didn't know what was going on, and he really didn't like it. I feel like if he read this one, he would like it.
Yeah,
but
like,
this is a strong point to the art makes the book to some extent. I found this book was more enjoyable with the writing along with the good art.
I think the collaboration, somebody who knows what they're doing. Like, I think they both have a vision of what they want the story to be, but bringing in that new person, they kind of like got off track of what they wanted it to be. I think we're back there now. Yeah. Hopefully. If he's taking a break, I'll wait 4 months for opinion.
That's what I'm saying. I would have done that the whole fucking time. I would have waited a year as long as there's opinion on art. Because, again, when I go for an Image book, I understand that it's one creative team, you know? Like, you have the due diligence. You're not beholden to some release date. Like, everyone delays their books.
Speaking of not delaying your books. Batman. What?
I kept wondering why Mask of the Phantasm was on the back.
Batman number 30. This is written by Tom King, art by Clayman, colors by colors by Jordi Belair. This is the War of Joke and Riddles, the interlude part 2. Kite Man again. I'm gonna say. Usually I wait till what you guys say, but
you just start, Marvin.
Love this issue.
Yes,
it was so good.
This is probably one of the strongest issues from this whole Jokes and Riddles.
Yeah,
I don't know if I agree with that. Like, it was good, but I don't remember any of the first part of Kite Man's story. Like, did Joker kill his son? I saw that Riddler killed his son, but I don't even remember that.
Yeah, we saw.
I guess it wasn't important to me, and Batman was barely in it, so I get it was about Kite Man, and the end was very dramatic, like when he's like crying and stuff.
Does Riddler know Batman's in the room with him?
Yeah, they're working together.
Yeah. No, I get they're working together, but I'm trying to figure out if Riddler knows that Batman's there.
I think so, because in the first panel, Batman's like ahead of him, and then Batman steps back.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I thought he came out of the shadows and is sneaking up on Riddler to get a heads up.
Oh, I see what you're saying. He's in the background. Yeah, they're kind of almost side by side.
Okay. It seems kind of weird that Batman would even wear Riddler's banner on his arm, even if he was teaming up with him. Like, I bet if Batman would be like, "Okay, I'll fucking help you. Can't kill anybody, but we're doing it my way." You know, not like, "Yeah, I'm gonna help you beat the shit out of Joker's people."
But I get that, but it's Batman taking everybody down. Because no one wants to die from Riddler. They know that Batman's just going to beat the shit out of them.
You know something I got about this issue that I really like that I haven't seen for a while? If they could really humanize these villains on Joker's side, like Scarface when the puppet got taken away and he's like sitting there like crying, like, I want my puppet. And Kite Man like hearing that his wife thought that he was a joke and would tell his son that his son would be like, what do you mean mom thinks you're a joke and all this stuff. And he's trying to explain it. He's like, oh, can I be a joke too? And he's like, it's how much that his son loves him. Even when his wife didn't think anything of him and what he was doing. And now that his son's dead, like he's doing all this stuff to like prove that he's not a joke to like basically show like I am somebody. And you see who else is there? Mr. Freeze,
Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Well, I guess they're not there, but
like all these people being taken down, but you see like who they kind of like they feel more like real and humanized in this issue, and then they get taken down like they're scared, being like, "Oh, Batman, like, oh, here's what we do. We were scared of the Joker. That's the only reason why we're with him. We'll just let them take him out, and then like, we can get out of this. We can get out of this. Let's just go back home. We don't want to do this." And that one character, who was it? Cluemaster, yeah. When he was down on the ground, like he was screaming because he's so scared. And I was just like, this whole issue, I was just like, wow. Like, they're not just like that, like fucking sea villain or even Kite Man, be like, really humanizes people, being like, these are just people just trying to make a living. And maybe they get into the wrong side of the law because shit's happened in their life. And that's the way it's got to roll. But at the end of the day, these guys are like Kite Man was trying to prove to his son that he's not a joke and that he actually is somebody. Cluemaster just wants to be like, make a living and not get killed and like all this stuff. And I was just like, wow. I think Tom King writes a better Batman universe story than it is a Batman story.
Agreed.
I would agree with
like
that.
when Batman's less in the issue, I like it more.
I like that this was, to me, it shows how scary Batman really is to everybody.
Yeah, he writes a good Batman in the
main
background.
two,
Yeah.
Joker and Riddler. But he takes out Man-Bat with the bat plane. He throws a perfectly aimed batarang at Mr. Freeze's head, breaking his
mask.
Yeah, his glass
helmet,
shielding, his helmet. Does he actually beat the shit out of Kite Man? Yeah, he does, because he keeps telling him to stay down.
To stay down, and he's trying to keep getting back up to prove he's not a joke. And he's like, stay down.
That was tough to read. Because even Batman's like, dude, just stay down.
Yeah.
I thought the funniest part of this book, where Joker gives that huge speech, and then it's just Kite Man in the audience clapping. I'm like, I don't know why. Like, this jokes and riddles, like, you know how Joker's so, like, in a piss poor mood that, like, any joke with him, like, I fucking lose it.
Wow.
Like,
I have no funny bone in this
that
book.
he just, like, he doesn't laugh. Like, Joker doesn't laugh at all.
Yep.
I'm sure the end of this War of Joke and Riddles, he's going to, like, laugh his ass off on something.
See, for me, that wasn't really a joke. That was more of a touchy moment. Be like, that's how much Kite Man's, like, in this thing to prove it. He's like, I'll laugh at all those other guys. That's what I thought about it. I was like,
well, I mean, Joker's saying, like, we're going to unite together. We're going to do this. And then you just turn to Kite Man.
The Joker side of it, yeah.
Yeah.
But the Kite Man, when they cut to Kite Man, I was just like, man, that guy's sticking it out.
Well, he's sticking it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I get that point of the story. I just...
I think I like Tom King's Bruce Wayne, and I like his Batman universe. I don't think his Batman, he's trying to figure out, like, what he wants to do with that. But yeah, I think, like, the last Kite Man issue was good. The issues with the Catwoman and Bruce Wayne, last Batman, I think those are good too. And I think it's like those things where it's not just a Batman action kind of story. I think he does a better job about it.
Yeah, like, I did enjoy this issue, but I don't know. For me, like, Batman, and I guess I was focusing on Batman in a Batman book, but I know it's about Kite Man. And, like, Batman seems way out of character in this book.
In this issue?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I actually thought Batman felt...
I don't know. I mean, something about him teaming up with Riddler.
Well, okay, other than him teaming up with Riddler, but he has teamed up with villains before. He's even teamed up with Joker, like in the animated series. He's doing the what's best for everyone, not just...
I get that.
And that's what we learned about last issue. He's like, I got to pick one of these guys to go with.
I guess I'm pulling an Alex. The whole wearing Riddler's fucking armband. Batman would never do that.
No, I agree with that, because I had to go back and look at the cover. Why the fuck would he wear it? He'd still be Batman.
I think that's more for Joker's people to tell Joker and be like, he's with Riddler now. To maybe...
But I think it's one big ruse from Batman to give Riddler that sense of security.
Yeah.
When all of a sudden you're going to watch Batman just beat the shit out of the Riddler.
I don't think Batman ever would play it that clean. Be like, yeah, Riddler got you.
Yes, I thought too. He's just going to do that. And then Riddler's going to think he has upper hand, but he doesn't. And then he'll just take them all out at once.
Because you got to play to Riddler's ego of, you're the smartest one here.
Yeah. He knows what's going on.
So.
Yeah. I listened to a long hour interview with Tom King that just came out recently. And it did a nice job of figuring out, like, hearing him talk about it and then hearing us, like, our evolution of liking this book over time. It actually goes together. Because he talked about before he started writing Batman, that he went back and read, like, all his favorite Batman arcs and Batman stories to try to get a sense of being like, okay, what I want to do with this? There's just something there that I need to know that I want to work with, or, get in that universe, get in that mindset. And he said he thinks that was the worst thing he could have done. Because, like, the first couple of arcs, he said he felt like he was trying to write a Batman story. And, like, okay, how do you do it? How do you write a Batman story? This has got to happen, this has got to happen, this has got to happen. And he said after, like, I think he said it was around that last arc of the Bane thing, he finally got to a point where he's like, let me just write a story and examine different things about Batman that nobody's ever talked about. Like, why am I trying to recreate stuff that people have done before?
Yeah.
So then he started like doing his own things. And I think actually that's when we started liking him more, was towards the end of
What's the where's the one where Bane and Batman are beating the shit out of each other?
That's issue 20, I think. Or
Yeah.
That's
like
my
what's
favorite issue this whole series.
I Am Pain or I Am Bane or
I Am Bane, yeah.
Okay. That was my favorite. Yes, that was the strong point. That was the turning where I was like, you know what, this Batman book is a good Batman book. This is hashtag almost my Batman.
Right.
Speaking of collaboration, also, he mentioned a lot of times, especially when he works with somebody he's worked with before, like with David Finch, stuff like that. Oh, by the way, I realized from that interview, we've been saying Mikhail Jennings' name wrong this whole time.
Is it Michael?
It's Mikhail Hanin.
Holy shit.
So, which makes sense now that he says it. So I was like, oh yeah, the J is always an H in Spanish. I think he's from like South America or something like that. Anyways. Hanin. So, but like he said when he works with Mikhail, that he a lot of times he's like, here's what I want to do with this, and then Mikhail does it. And Mikhail, he says a lot of times he thinks about comics instead of going from up and down, he thinks about left or right. And you can tell from his panels, like he'll do a 2-page spread where like it goes left to right. But that Bane fight you're talking about, he says a lot of time he's like, okay, Batman's going to fight Bane, do whatever you want, is what he'll do. But in that issue, he said a lot of comic book writers do that. But for him, he says that he likes, for this fight scene specifically, to write out exactly what happens. And so that whole fight scene that you liked, he said, do this, and this, and this, and this. And every time I listened, he said in the interview, he goes, I can't talk much about my CIA days. And I was like, because he learned how to fight. That's what happened. This guy's that's like that headbutt thing, like you said. Yep. I was like, that's the most perfect headbutt I've seen in any kind of medium in like a long time. Because every time I see a headbutt, people like head to head, like
head to nose.
And that's the first time in a long time I've actually seen somebody do it right. But I think, once he started like doing his things his way instead of trying to do a Batman story, I think it's been good. I like this issue a lot.
Agreed. I actually was going to give this one a 10. I thought Clayman was awesome on art. And I really enjoyed the story. Yeah,
did Clayman do the last interlude? We never figured that out. I heard in the forecast that said I would figure it out, and I never figured it out. You should look it up.
I can look it up. Well, I'll set you guys up for the next one if you want, or do you want to keep talking Batman?
I'm going to give it an 8. I mean, it wasn't my favorite issue, but it was still, it was good for the Kite Man story. I don't know. Something was weird about Batman for me this time around.
War Joke and Riddles. And the one right before it, the Catwoman issue, if you're looking to get into Batman, that's a nice jumping on point, or you can go all the way back. But I think if you want to jump on, it's a good spot. So do that. The 2 issues about Kite Man have been good. Excellent. You know what? The last issue choked me up more because it was about his son dying. And this one, I was like, here you go.
Is that the one where Batman goes, for like 2 seconds? Or was that last issue of Batman?
That was 2 issues ago.
Oh, okay.
The first issue of Batman.
Clayman did the pencils for 27.
Okay. In this issue, he talks about his son like looking up to him and not thinking he's a joke. I thought it would make me more emotional, but not really. But his son dying did. Not really. What made you emotional this week? Are we still getting to it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go ahead.
You know what else we got? Hawkeye number 10, written by Kelly Thompson, art by Leonardo Romero, and colors by who else but Jordi Belair. I loved this issue
it was a fucking great issue.
Much.
The art style in it was fantastic. I mean, the use in the action scenes alone, like, we don't know what's Madame Mask till, I guess we do. I forgot the cliffhanger of last issue, but like the fluid motion of that, like all those action scenes with assuming it's Kate Bishop and like, the way that, what's the artist's name?
Leonardo
Romero, like, it makes like Kate Bishop like sexy in this issue, like where she draws those guys in. I'm just kind of like, holy shit!
I have to admit, the sex appeal was he did a good job drawing Kate, or not Kate, but the clone.
Right?
Holy crud! That's never a Kate Bishop I've ever seen before. It was a nice.
You knew she was off by the way she moved, and that's really a great thing to convey via art. Is like, I know this person's like in movies you can obviously tell like. When it's supposed to be like a clone or something like that, you're like, oh, that guy seems off. It's really hard to do that in a static medium like this, But I think she did it well. Like, yeah, within the first few panels, you can tell, like, oh, this isn't Kate.
Well, she's like a fucking like smooth.
She's a vixen right there.
And
just
I
trying
think
to draw
You're right.
attention.
And Kate's clumsy and all this shit.
And you don't realize until you get to the end when she does like the target vision that you're like, yeah, where the fuck was like this should be all over the fucking place. Like, why isn't this in here?
But I like the coloring for the parts that were
the coloring was awesome. God, it was so good. That club scene, yeah.
Oh man.
And then the end, like you said, when it was all this is cake, because it's actually funny again.
It was like all these important things. Idiots.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Power supply.
Talking pizza
Fake
doc,
me.
Bucky. He's just like, woof. I thought exactly. Good words.
I have to admit, this was actually a 10 for me.
This is a 10.
I
They
loved
called her
this
fake
book.
Hawkeye. She's the real one. That Clint can stay back where the fuck he is.
I tell you what, yeah, I don't need Clint in this book. I am so happy that it's just Kate Bishop doing her thing.
I also forgot that she was in California, and like Oddball said, he goes, "Stay in New York. We like the West Coast. There's nobody out here." And I forgot. I was like, "Yeah, that's nice that she's like in a different town, and it feels like really different too in that location." Like when they got to the club and all stuff like that, I was just like, in the colors, especially in this locale, it's really still a fun book, but still, even this issue until like the last 4 pages.
Yeah.
Even though there's no really like the humor was more in how her friends reacted to the fake Kate Bishop, but even still, we got good action. The action scenes reminded me even of like an Aha kind of action scene. Still, the whole thing, like it's like I fly through that book, and not in terms of like, oh, this is just a simple read, but it's just like it's so fluid, and great and fun. It's just like when I'm done, I'm always like, God, that was amazing.
It was so good.
Even the face that was drawn for the clone was too
perfect.
Yeah, too smooth, too perfect. Where when you get to Kate in the prison cell, she's got bandages, she's got her nose wrapped, or she's got some scar, something that is like, yeah, that's Kate.
I kind of want to know.
She's always hurt.
Smug on her face.
Based off this issue, I want to know more about her friends. And normally, I'd say fuck that. Like, I never want to know about people's like behind the scenes. But I want to know more about this group that she's basically working with now, because I think that'd be a fun team dynamic kind of thing.
Well, I'm sure down the line there would be something like that. But which is weird. Just at an opinion of myself is that in Batman number 30, there's not enough Batman for you, where she spends just about as much time literally being Kate, like actually Hawkeye, not the fake clone.
I know, but you assume it's her the whole time. But I know it's not.
No, I never assumed it was her. She was too perfect.
Well, I assumed something was wrong. I forgot the cliffhanger of last issue. So
even when she pulled out the gun, you were like,
that's when I was starting to get on, obviously getting onto the fact that it's not her.
Oh, it's when she threw the dagger the first time. Like I was like, oh yeah, you wouldn't have the arrows. She even goes, I'm not gonna bring my gear. Why would I do that? She keeps these knives on her thighs.
I'm not going to compare it to Batman. It was just fucking great.
Oh, see, my thing is that it's apples and oranges, but they're still delicious apples and amazing oranges.
Fruit.
Balls.
Oh,
what was I going to say? Oh, then her dad at the end. Did you mention that? Her dad, like, she finds her dad in jail, like the next cell over from her.
Like,
captured.
Yeah. Like, but his mouth is, what is it called? Gagged?
Taped. Taped and gagged. And then she goes, okay, before I get you out of here, did you really kill my mom? And that's a cliffhanger. And I was like, so like, even still, like, we get back to that real moment of her trying to figure out what happened to her mom. And it's still like, I look forward to that as much as I look forward to Pizza Dog the next issue. You know,
dude, I tell you what,
nice
these covers
of stuff.
Amazing.
The what?
Yeah,
the covers, holy shit, are awesome.
Yeah. I didn't know Madame Mask was really a Hawkeye villain, but it's kind of a cool twist that she's
been in for like, yeah,
she's
even
in fraction a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Strong 9.
9. I'm giving it a 10.
There
Like I enjoyed every last panel of that fucking book.
This is a 10 for me.
You know what? I'm going to give it a 10. I can't think of anything I would be like, I need more of this.
There's nothing wrong with this book. It was just a fun read. This is what I needed from Hawkeye.
Because literally my only negative would be like, I was like, oh, I wish I had more. But that means it's good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I read this issue and it's like I want to. Yeah, you're right. You want more. I wish I could have like.
This is what I want to.
It should have been like a Netflix show or something. Like I want to like where's play on the next episode.
Yeah, where's Hawkeye?
Yeah.
Get rid of that Jeremy Renner. Give me Kate Bishop.
He barely wants to be in those movies. He keeps,
barely in those.
He keeps like retiring and coming back. So
that's because he hits 18 in golf.
Oh, got it.
Civil War joke.
Oh, okay.
Oh, whatever.
You guys need to yell more.
All right. Well, last book of the night, Superman number 30, written by Ed Champagne with art by
I think it's
Keith. Sorry, I keep saying Ed because Ed Benz is the artist. Written by Keith Champagne, art by Ted Baines, Tyler Kirkham, and Philip Tan.
I thought it was Ed Baines.
I said Ed Baines,
You
did I?
said Ted.
Fuck it. Ed Baines, Tyler Kirkham, and Philip Tan. Colors by Dinah, fucking three people. Dinah Ribeiro, Tomu More, and Sonny Go.
Second part of what's the arc called?
A minute longer.
Part 2. I'm just laughing because I seen that picture of the first of 29. Being like, this is bullshit. Actually, I actually liked it, but just trying to rattle your feathers. But what's the thing that you wanted me to tell you that like is the Sinestro's back? Is that what it is?
Yeah, but that's huge. We didn't know what happened to Sinestro, and he showed up, and
alive.
we didn't know about Parallax.
Sinestro showed up at the end of one of those Hal Jordan issues at the end. Alive.
No, he didn't.
Yeah,
I thought he was dead.
Which one? He has not shown up.
I assumed he was blown up at like issue 5
yeah,
or
you don't
6.
see him. I promise you.
no,
you do not see him until that fucking issue.
He shows up and that lady's like, "Welcome, Sinestro," or "Welcome home," or something like that. I guarantee.
I don't fucking think so.
I don't recall seeing Sinestro ever referenced other than talking about Sinestro War or the Core War.
Right. So, the thing that I was hoping about most with this arc is because, this arc's about fear. And, I knew there was going to be something going on where it was going to basically put a trial of fear through Superman. Parallax is using Superman as a conduit to control him, basically. And he's like, I'm fucking
To take out
Superman.
Sinestro.
Yeah. I have Superman's powers, and I'm fucking the god of fear, basically. And I can kill you like it's nothing. So this was actually one of my... I told these guys it was like one of my Marvin issues. They were like when Superman's going through all the trials of his fears, which is like literally a 2-page spread. There's so many moments in there that I was starting to tear up. And the one that got me the most, and I don't know, like for somebody that's like whatever, like Superman's cool and all, but the scene where Clark's holding Lois and the doctor saying your cancer's progressed to stage 4.
That is not the part I thought would get you. I assumed it would have been John
getting bullied.
No, the next page when you turn it.
Yeah, the next
and
page.
it's John versus
that was
Superman.
intense too. Like this whole thing was intense. But for me, I know how much like Clark. I mean, you guys do too. But like how much Lois means to Clark, and to see that and like the repercussions because that fight between John and Clark. They're probably, if that were to happen, getting separated more. And it's like, I just think about how, because all of Superman, like I don't think of it issue by issue. I think of it as whole history and how much his life is focused around Lois and now John. Like for her to potentially pass away. Like think about, you guys both have wives.
Yeah.
Think about, your partner like has to go through something so horrible, and you love them so much, like for them to potentially be gone. That's just so heartbreaking. And I know, like, this is fantasy, this is fiction, this is what it's trying to do. But I just thought about, like, how it's always been Clark and Lois. It's Clark Kent and Lois Lane, Superman and Lois. What is Clark Kent or Superman without Lois Lane? I don't think...
Kal-El.
Clark Kent.
No, but in all honesty, like somebody that's loved her, married her, had a kid with her, and then having to lose. I've seen the wrong side of it in Injustice, but that's a different story. But like, if this Clark Kent had to deal with the fact that she's gone from his life forever, fuck. If you want to see me cry about a Superman story, now that I think about it, Superman Beyond basically just ends with Superman like just flying away in space until he dies. So.
Like All-Star Superman?
Well, no, that one he's just in the sun beating.
So
hammer.
let me get this straight.
Superman?
Your kryptonite is love stories going awry. The loved one dying.
Clark Kent and Lois.
Okay. Marvin's is anything children and father related.
Well,
and mine is obviously animals, pain and suffering.
Yeah, no animal side in this production of this book, so he's okay. It's your buddy.
I also got to read a quote from this issue that I thought was the best. So for a new writer like Keith Champagne, or I don't know if he's new, but I haven't read anything by him. For him to write the Superman book, Alpha's successful run of Tomasi and Gleason, like I thought, not only did it like keep the pace, but it definitely improved it. I think that Keith Champagne knows who Superman is, and I'm gonna when I read this quote, like I fucking got chills. It's like when you, for my birthday, put that quote from Jor-El to Clark on my, from Man of Steel, when that gave me the fucking chills, where it's like, you can save them, Cal, like that line. Like this line almost got me too, but here you.
Dumb question. Where did Gleason go? Where did Tomasi go? Are they done? Are they off this book?
No, they're on the Oz thing coming up.
Okay.
They're just taking a break.
Okay.
Yeah.
They took a break before.
Yeah.
When
must not have noticed.
Yeah, there's a couple issues.
Yeah, at least for the art.
I just want to make sure they're coming back.
That page you're talking about the next page with John saying you never were around, like you're supposed to erase me, but you're too busy saving everybody else, and you abandoned me, all stuff like that. That issue, that page for me, I was like, that was the thing that made me.
That is very intense.
Because if I think every parent has that fear, and it's definitely something that I didn't even think about until like I had a kid, and then like it's like probably like up like top 5 fears in my life right now. It's like disappointing your kid. It's like you don't want to disappoint them. Like it's that thing about how much is being with them too much, or like being too overbearing, and like, or letting them live, or like being there for them. And like for him, I didn't even think about that before. Like, what kind of life is John living that his dad's Superman and his dad takes off, and at the end when he shows up at the end, he goes to John's room and looks like, hey, I'll make you a piece of pie, warm you up a piece of pie. And he goes, okay, I'm just going to stand here and breathe for a second, looking at his son. I was just like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Like, cause he's like, hey, like I have a second that I don't have to fight some fucking parallax or go save the world. Like, let me just sit here and enjoy being in the room with my kid. Right. And I was just like, so that was good for me. I like that.
Yeah. I think this whole issue was great. I mean, so you deal with, there's obviously like fear of loss. There's, fear of
not being strong enough. There's
fear of being too strong, about hurting all those around you. Abandonment. I mean, it touches on so many things, and we're living in a day and age where the world is so dark. We got power where people don't want it to be. There's tensions among nations. We have hurricanes wiping out, people's homes, and, it's just a very dark world. And so it'd be easy for everything to give into fear. And I read this line and it gave me chills because, let me just read it.
Can you give me All-Star Superman?
Okay, I was like, why did you point at me when you talked about things being dark?
Yeah, there real quick. Go on.
But this is the quote that Superman says, and it's like, this is, I think, his mission statement. This is Superman saying, here's what he said. Being afraid is a part of being alive. Fear exists inside all of us. I can't deny there's a little piece of you, which is fear, parallax, in everything. But people will always find a way to surprise you. There is so much more than terror in our hearts. There is also joy, love, and hope. A single shred of hope can hold all the fear in the universe at bay. And like, how true is that? I mean, with all these tragedies and the darkness in the world, there's so much unification. I know it seems like we're separated, but when there's so many people that share a passion for similar interests, it's really them banding together. Like, think about the hurricanes going on down south. There's so many charities, people like Scott Snyder donated his entire earnings for Metal 2 to the hurricane relief. And I think of like, hope is such a powerful thing. Like, it can get real dark. But, Superman is kind of like the light shining the way. A shred of hope. There's always hope, So I thought that was a huge, powerful message. And, I mean, that's why Superman's my guy. That's my hero.
I think, you're right that Mr. Champagne, I don't know how you say the last name. Champagne. Really does understand Superman in that aspect, because I think that's what a lot of people, when they write Superman, they get wrong, especially in those movies, is that they try to make him cynical, and he's not cynical. It's like you said, he's about hope, and he's about looking at the optimistic side of things, and like looking for the good in people, and looking for, like, he doesn't not want to have fear in him, because he understands, like, no, it's good to have fear, because fear, like you said, it brings on hope, and it's a necessary thing to have.
Right.
So, like you said, yeah. So I did like that quote also. I forgot about that, but yeah, you're right.
Oh.
I was going to read that quote you talked about that I put on your wall. It's in All-Star Superman. It's where it came from, but
It is? Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was the quote from...
they used it in Man of Steel, but it's from All-Star.
Oh, shit, I didn't know that.
So
I
I don't know where it is. It's what Jor-El does say it to him,
Yeah. It gives me chills every time.
but I forgot what issue it is that Jor-El is talking to.
Not only do I give this issue a 10, it's my pick of the week. I mean, you would never think that Sinestro and Parallax would be a villain for Superman, but it works so well in this two-parter.
But that's the nice thing about the Rebirth universe is that what is a Green Lantern villain doesn't have to be a Green Lantern villain.
Right.
It could just be a villain who's in town.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it an 8. I didn't feel the heartstrings weren't being pulled on. It was good. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't the Superman story. It wasn't an issue 7 for me.
It basically it confirmed like how much like I praise Superman. I know it's a fictional character, but like how much I look up to this fictitious being that, some people are graciously enough to get right. So, and cool thing, we find out that Parallax is coming back to Hal Jordan in issue 30 or 31.
31.
You know what I liked about it? Like you said, Parallax can be he exists in this world. Why wouldn't he fight Superman?
Right.
I did look at the solicit or the synopsis for 30 because I was like, oh, he's coming back in 30 because he said at the end. And Superman's going to be in that issue of Hal Jordan.
Oh, sweet.
So I was like, oh, like that continuity carries on like from this story to that story. You probably don't have to read both of them, but it's nice for people who do to be like, oh, this started here and it's going to move on to there. Right. It just makes it feel more grand and like connected. Right. So
that's awesome.
Separate yet connected. You hear that, Marvel? Yeah, I liked it a lot too. It was probably a 9 for me. The only thing for me was the different art changes.
Yeah, that's a lot of art.
Explain
and colorists.
One thing to me. During the fears, does Bruce Wayne become Doomsday?
No, Superman does.
Superman becomes Doomsday. They're saying
okay, and
Bruce
so Wonder Woman's asking what happened.
I had to read that thing
okay, because I got confused because I saw Flash was attacking, so was Aquaman, and it's Wonder Woman is asking, what did you do to Bruce by killing him?
Killed him, yeah.
Okay. I assume that's his fear that something about his alien self is going to one day make him become this person. He's going to hurt his friends.
Okay.
So he's always afraid of like
I just want to make sure
strong he is.
I misunderstood thinking, Bruce, why, it doesn't make sense that Bruce would become Doomsday.
It doesn't make sense.
Of course. Not logical.
Hawkeye number, which one? 10. Superman number 30. Batman number 30. Walking Dead 171.
Got it right. Got it right.
Yeah, 7 to Eternity number 9. And
DD 26.
Daredevil number 26. Get those books where you want to. Rainbow Comics and Cards in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, or Lincoln, Nebraska, or online. RainbowComicsandCards.com. Let them know you want to put them on your pull list. You can get them when they come out. Superman. Recommend it. Superman's been strong.
It has. One of the best Rebirth titles.
I think that's one we all agree on. Like, get that thing on your list.
You know when you can skip? Deathstroke.
No.
I'm not going to confirm nor deny that. I thought Deathstroke was going to be one of the best books. I know. And I was so let down by that book. Just wasn't my style.
Hawkeye. Out of all these, I was trying to think, which one has been good from issue 1 till now? Hawkeye.
Hawkeye 100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
All the rest of them with like every once in a while, like
good issues, but they've had some misses.
Hawkeye,
I think every time has been aces.
We're going to play a little game today. At one point, go back to episode 37. We did a little thing. You've seen the Newlywed Game, but we did the Comic Book Friends, we called it, game, where I presented the same questions to Garrett and Alex. They wrote down their answers, gave it to me. I asked Alex to give me Garrett's answers, and Garrett to give me Alex's answers, and they see how well they knew each other. If I remember correctly, it's been a while, but I think you guys did pretty good.
Yeah.
So now we're going to see how well you know me, because at that time, Garrett was like, hey, Mark, why don't you do it? So I took the same questions from episode 37. They're going to ask me. No. Yeah, you read the question.
You wrote your answers on here, right?
No. He's got them in there.
I have them in my handy-dandy notebook. And so you guys ask yourselves the question, answer the question among yourselves as a team. Figure out an answer. Tell me. I'll tell you if it's right. I'll give you the bing. If it's not, we'll see how well. There's the only loser in this game is if you guys get none of them right, then I realize you're not my friend. But if you get them all right, hey, buddy, we're all friends here. So we'll see. Like I said, same questions to episode 37. And actually, I remember when I was filling them out, I actually gave one of these answers away in that episode. So if you remember, you'll get it. But we'll see.
Trap. Okay, I'm going to do odds if you do evens. Okay. So first question to Marvin. What is your favorite current comic? I want to say Deadly Class.
But Saga's up there. It's Saga or Deadly Class.
I know that Saga's been weaker form in the past, but I know it's getting stronger.
Let's go Deadly Class.
Okay. Deadly Class, final
Lock
answer.
it in.
Deadly Class for my favorite comic book right now. That's what they said, and they got it. 1 point. Woohoo!
I got to stop that noise.
That's sorry, evens. Who is your favorite DC character?
Ooh.
That's tough.
It's a Green Lantern is my guess.
Think about it.
It's Guy Gardner.
Yeah, I'll say Guy's the only one that makes sense.
Think about it.
Guy Gardner. Lock it.
Lock and pop. The answer to my favorite DC hero is Hal Jordan.
That's bullshit.
Incorrect.
You've actually told us that it's Guy Gardner before.
I like Guy a lot. He's not my favorite, but
Well, fuck.
Fucker.
Hal. Here's the reason why I like Hal. Is so the worst thing that happened to him in his life is when his dad died, and he died in that plane crash. And so ever since then, he doesn't fear anything because like that was his greatest fear. So he overcomes great fear with great will. So it's a nice thing for your life. So I like him a lot, and I like his like he never says no to something. To be like I can't do that. He's always like, let me try.
Let's do it.
Let me try.
How Jones are you for that Green Lantern Earth one?
Oh, for Super Jones, I like that team too.
Yeah,
and I'm excited that he might be in those movies. Or maybe if it's Jon Stewart, then I'm like, oh, okay. But if it's Hal, I'm like, I'm disappointed. Oh, two things. One,
heard it might be Armie Hammer.
I
don't know.
I like Armie Hammer.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
I just saw Nocturnal Animals. He was in it. He was pretty good. I was disappointed in this Superman issue. Parallax was in that cloud. What's up with that? When did he change to a person? Just kidding. And I'm disappointed. Like that movie disappointed me so hard. I told you, like I fell out of my love.
That day was the fucking best, and then it turned into the worst.
Because I was so excited for people to love Hal the way I liked Hal, and then we went to that, and I was like, oh, now he's a joke.
I read Secret Origin that day, and I was like, this is gonna be the best fucking movie on the planet. Holy shit! It was like one of those cases where your expectations were too high. That movie, but it doesn't matter.
Even if I didn't have expectations, it still took a massive dump on.
We talked about it last week, but if you have any chance, go and read Jeff Johns' whole run, starting from Rebirth. To No Fear, to Central Cold War, to Secret Origin, to Blackest Night. That whole like arc, God, it's so good.
Amazing.
Okay, so number 3 is who is your favorite Marvel character?
Who is my favorite
This is gonna be
Marvel
fucking hard.
character?
Yeah, I said this one could be difficult.
Could be Doctor Strange. Cap.
See, it depends. If it's good guy, I'm gonna say Captain America. If it's bad guy, Doc Doom.
Ooh.
So this one's hard because I'm torn. And who knows? He could have just given us some fucked up answer.
No, all these answers are
legitimate.
I even thought it was like, this is way too easy. Like Deadly Class, I thought you guys would know right away. I'm not going to try to trick you up. These are my answers.
I
was thinking
I told you, I'm trying to make you get 100% because you're going to be my friends. Why am I trying to make
Do
you
you want
lose?
Captain or you want Doctor Doom?
That's a trick question. He gives more praise to Doctor Doom than he's ever given Cap, but that's only since we started the show.
That's true. See, I'm thinking overall.
Captain.
I want to say Captain America.
Captain America.
Final.
Lock it.
Who?
Cap.
Which one?
Captain America.
Don't bullshit me. Steve Rogers.
Steve Rogers, favorite Marvel character. Of course, I got a painting of him right here. You guys debated.
It's Superman over there.
Well, that's not a painting. Like some guy I painted this for me. This I bought at Gordman's.
Ah, fuck. How many books do you currently get?
Oh, jeez.
Think about it. Here, I'll give you within
He got 7
5.
today.
Give you within 5. If you get within 5, you're good.
He got 7 today. I think he got maybe 10 even last week. 17. He may get 30.
Say 30.
Okay.
Lock it.
30 issues locked in.
Ooh, very close. I give you within 5. It's 37.
Okay, we're off.
I'm going to still give us credit even though we didn't get the point.
37. Hold on a second. 37 that I could remember. So it might be more than that.
Or it could be less than that.
There's at least 37.
Okay, so number 5. From which publisher do you get the most comics? So it's either DC or Image. Dumb question. Is it?
Think about it. It might be Dark Horse.
Well, instead, are you doing? They're all separate, right? Dark Horse, Image, Marvel.
Yeah,
it's not. Okay.
Is it currently?
Yeah, right now. At least that's the way I took the question. I assume that's the way we did last time too.
It's got to be Image.
I think it's Image.
Image.
Locked in.
Image Comics. Didn't do an actual count, but most of it was Image when I was counting 37. So far, you guys have got the odds, not the evens.
Oh, I fucking know this next one. This is the birth of our friendship. When did you start getting Comics Weekly? That would be 2011, bitch.
I'll lock that in.
Incorrect.
No.
2007.
No.
Yeah.
No, because you used to do the subscription service. You didn't start doing it weekly until we all started going to the comic shop. You just said it on the show.
That is still weekly. For a while, I was getting it weekly, and then I went to bi-weekly. But I mean monthly comics. The issues. That's what that did. That's what it meant. It did because he said the same thing. I mean, not getting just trades.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That wasn't specific enough for me, so half point.
I agree.
Because my evolution was I used to get random comics back in the 90s, whatever, but not really. I was a kid still. And then trades, I worked my way up, and then I actually went and started getting putting stuff on a poll in 2007.
Loophole.
Okay, so number 7. What was the first comic book movie you watched? Honestly, I'm thinking Superman.
Superman the movie. He-Man was after. The comic came after the movie, I believe, for He-Man.
He-Man was an 80s cartoon, so the movie would have been made after the 80s, but Superman is a 70s movie, right?
Yeah.
Not saying you were born in the 70s, Marvin.
Superman the movie.
Superman the movie with...
Christopher Reeve.
Yep. Locked it in.
Incorrect. It's Batman with Michael Keaton.
Wow.
It's a bullshit answer.
I actually didn't see Superman until way later in my life.
Really?
Batman was something that we had on VHS. Superman's something I didn't see until I think I rented on my own.
And
96.
Alex still hasn't seen the best Superman movie ever created, so.
Nope. Still waiting to watch it.
Which one? 2? Donner?
Donner cut.
Garrett. What's my...
I'm working on it. You interrupted me from reading this tiny print. Jesus. What is your favorite comic book movie? Captain America Winter
Soldier is the only one that I'm...
Lock it.
Of course.
Easy. I was going to say we just had a top 5 about that, so... You guys forgot already?
Doesn't
matter. No. We would not... Considering it was my favorite, I wouldn't forget that. Steel trap right here. So number 9 is, who is your favorite writer all time? Grant Morrison.
What about Tom King, though?
No.
Tom King made him cry.
Yeah, but I'm sure if he was to read some stuff now from Grant Morrison, it'd make him cry.
Grant Morrison should be his answer, but it could be Tom King. But let's talk Grant Morrison. Lock it in.
Who is my favorite writer of all time? Not even just current. All time. Grant Morrison.
Perfect. Our friendship was built on Grant Morrison, motherfucker.
To your point about Tom King made me cry, Grant Morrison made me cry multiple times. So
all the time in
All-Star,
Superman.
every issue.
That's true.
And then also his Super Gods is really good too.
Super Gods. Is that the novel book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Who is your favorite artist all time?
Holy shit. Frank Quitely.
I'm just kidding. Ooh, Quitely.
I was thinking Quitely.
Let's go.
Writes one of his favorite books.
Wes Craig.
But again, only read it through.
But Frank Quitely worked with Grant Morrison a lot.
I'm going to say Frank Quitely. I think that's Frank Quitely. Locked in.
This was a hard answer. Because a lot of times when I think of artists, I think whatever they're paired up with, like a team. So I had to think what artist do I like no matter who the writing person is? The writer. Writing person.
Right person.
The writer is. I thought long and hard. I thought about Frank Quitely. It's not Frank Quitely.
Okay.
I thought about Wes Craig. It's not because the only thing I like him on is a class. I don't know what else he's
Haneem?
So I came to the conclusion because I thought about it. I was like, what book do I get based on his art? And I have in the past, and it's Michael Lark. There's an issue of Secret Avengers he did that I went and got that and went and got the whole series because I saw he did it. And anything time he does something, I'm like, oh, Michael Lark's art? Okay, sweet. I'm going to get that.
I have to admit, Lark passed through my brain about that. I don't know how much nostalgia it has for you, but I forgot about the Secret Avengers.
Go Lark. For a second, I thought about Sean Phillips because of him and Ed. But I was like, if I'd really read anything without Ed.
Yeah. But I think that's one of those teams that is just their team all the time.
But Michael Lark have multiple writers, and I like his art every time. So
Number 11.
I should have said Lee Weeks. I'm just kidding.
Number 11, you are stuck on an island. What 3 trades, OGNs, do you bring with you?
To clarify, I like Lee Weeks' character doesn't. That's what the joke.
I like Lee Weeks. I just don't think he did a good job in Superman.
Yeah.
I did not see the Elmer Fudd art, but whoever his colorist was on that Superman Dan Jurgens series where he was in the black suit, not good.
Oh,
not
really?
exciting.
Is that the
dull colors?
Lois and Clark?
Yeah, I like.
Oh, really? I like that. That was I like that one way more than American Alien.
Cool. I didn't like American Aliens art. That was 7 different artists.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying I like that whole series better than that American Alien.
Oh, nice.
I can start shit on Superman all I want. Superman's
way,
the worst character ever.
My favorite artist, I also wanted to add that Fiona Staples was high up there. But then again, I was like, I get that Archie series because she did it. So she would in second place.
Watchmen's one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what would he... Because Watchmen's, that's one read of 12 issues. But what if you did... I suppose you couldn't do Walking Dead, could you? Because that's different books. You could do a compendium.
Yeah, we did do trades in OGN, so it's not like you can bring the whole thing.
Right.
It's like 3 books you can fit in your suitcase.
Okay.
Watchmen would be one.
Okay. I'm thinking All-Star Superman.
Gotham Central.
But that's
and
different
All-Star
books.
Superman.
But All-Star Superman, or Gotham is separate books.
Gotham Central Volume 2.
Everyone's got the Joker on it. I agree with Watchmen and I agree with All-Star. It's got to be a book he's got over there. That first one he has of Why the Last Man.
Definitely not that. What about Green Lantern Rebirth?
I could see that.
Oh, Secret Origin. Fuck. We're not going to get all 3 of these right. There's no way.
Okay.
Watchmen and All-Star locked in.
Yep.
Third one.
Whatever you think. I think it's Bone.
Wait, you're right. Bone.
Jeff Smith Bone.
Jeff Smith Bone. Locked in. All 3. Go. 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 Go.
I actually just realized that I didn't pick 3, I only picked 2. But when you said Watchmen, I was like, what else can it be? So yeah, I'll pick Watchmen. Because I was looking at that, I was like, is it really Watchmen though? Because you guys were talking about it for a while. I was like, yeah, because I mentioned all the time how it's like, I always find something new when I read Watchmen. Yeah. Also Superman, of course. It has to be on there. It is, since it is just one. Wait, did they have the whole thing in one thing?
Yeah, because I've got the whole thing. And
boom, bringing that one.
So I was going to say, I'm subbing. It actually is a one.
I rob Alex's house for that issue, and I give him these 2 instead.
That's fine. I already got the issues, so it doesn't matter.
What was the third one?
My issues.
What did you pick for the third
one?
Bone? That's incorrect. Day Tripper.
That's what, so you can cry on that fucking island all day long?
You know what? That's worth 3 points, so I'm going to give you 2.
Woohoo. What comic book haven't you read that you want to read? Gotham by Gaslight. We just talked about it.
I think he's read it.
No. He said it's on his read list.
It is on my read list.
Oh, really? But I borrowed it from you.
Gotham by Gaslight?
Yeah.
No. I don't.
Because that's the one with the 3 families who made the bridges, right?
No, that's Gates of Gotham.
Gates of Gotham.
Oh.
Gotham by Gaslight's when he's trying to hunt Jack the Ripper.
Oh, okay.
Jack?
Never mind.
The Ripper?
He literally just told me.
Okay, let's go for it.
I mean, it's true. But hey, it is a true statement. Half point.
Wait, what's the question? What did she do?
What comic book haven't you read that you want to read?
Oh, Hellboy.
But also
Silence right there.
Also Gotham by Gaslight.
I do,
but also.
You didn't say what your favorite.
Hellboy's been something I've been talking about with Alex for a long time. I was like, I want to get those library editions. And
you can't say I'm wrong.
No, but I mean, it's like on a list, but it's not like I need, like, if I'm going to die tomorrow, I'm not like, let's read Gotham by Gaslight.
But it's Batman hunting Jack the Ripper, who nobody knows who he is.
Jesus.
I'm interested in it. You're acting like I'm dismissing. I'm just saying Hellboy is like higher on my list.
Not wrong.
Okay, so number 13. You have enough money to buy a complete series from issue 1. What do you buy?
Before you get into that one, Hellboy's been something that I've read random stuff like throughout, but I've never actually like sat down and, like you said, read it from start to end. So
Hellboy.
Oh boy.
Hellboy.
Lock it in.
But he's got enough money to buy the whole series.
The whole thing, the whole kit and caboodle.
I could see it being Batman.
Wait, for what?
For number 13, like a Detective Comics.
I thought we just said Hellboy and got it right.
No. That was for yours. What he hasn't read.
I know.
It was 12.
Why couldn't Hellboy be for that either? You just said he wants to read it from 1 on.
Suppose it could be. You want to do Hellboy for 13?
I'll give you this. It's not the same. So
Okay. But I wouldn't not be right. By complete series from issue 1, what do you buy?
because I want to read Hellboy, I don't need to own it. This is like
Okay.
You can read it on Hoopla. Because literally you're going to own it like I own
This
Scalp.
is like I want to get this from a collector standpoint. I want the whole thing.
Then we'd interrogate you going, where's Marvin? Because that's not the Marvin we know.
There's some things I like collect, like
Saga.
that are part of my collection. That I like that I have Saga 1. I thought about that hard the other day. I was like, would I ever sell that?
No.
Find me Saga number 2.
He wants you to find Saga number 2. This is tough because it's what does he want to own?
Is anybody else like dying of heat?
Yes.
No.
Oh.
I've been.
Can you turn that on the lowest one?
Let me just leave it on the lowest one at all times.
I realize you can't really hear it. Yeah. So, but does it really do anything though?
But it moves the air at least. We're 3 adult dude. Like I felt that right on my legs.
Oh yeah, that feels actually pretty good.
So, okay.
Well, from number 1. Well, it can't be Batman because that starts Detective Comics number 27.
You know why I don't want that on? It's because in my head I'm like, you're gonna be able to hear that, and I can't get rid of it. Just like when we did those remote shows and it fucked up the audio. So now like I'm always like super paranoid about how this show sounds.
Issue 1.
1 and beyond, the whole thing, the whole kit.
What about Action
In
Comics?
caboodle. If I walked
Or
into the
Flash.
shop and they're like, here, Marvin, we had the whole thing.
What
And
about Green Lantern?
I could see that.
Let's do it.
'Kay.
We're going to get it wrong
Yep.
anyways. Green Lantern.
Green Lantern.
Here's the thing.
It's
I
not.
thought about Green Lantern. It's not it.
BPRD.
Mainly because I don't really hear, besides Jeff Johns and Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams run on Green Arrow, Green Lantern. There's very few and far between like stuff I'm like, oh yeah, Green Lantern was great at these periods. But one character that I really do like a lot, and I hear a lot about different, like when this person was on it was great, when this person on it was great, so I would want the whole thing. And also like I just like the character a lot, and I would get the Flash. Mark Waid wrote the Flash. Grant Morrison wrote the Flash. You have Jeff Johns wrote the Flash. Like there's all these people who wrote the Flash that are like great. So
It's true. Dang.
I would get it.
14.
Plus, you have like Barry Allen, Wally West. You have all, and like when they had the family, the whole Flash family. When you have Max Mercury, all these people. Like
Until they
it's
get killed off. Until New
Flash
52.
Rebirth. Like I get all this stuff. Francis Vanderpool. It's great. Get the whole thing.
You can turn into one superhero. Who are you?
Ooh, who am I?
Doc Strange.
What's that? Oh, I thought you were
Okay,
doing
no
this.
then. No. Wrong
Doesn't
answer.
know who that is.
That Spider-Man, Doc Strange. Stanley
What's
just
this
flipped it around. Huh?
Up
Performance
away.
issues.
You know, do you want to be Captain America? Like it seems too
That's
down
just-
to earth.
All that is super strength.
Yeah, some speed. He's got some durability.
Why not Superman? Get it all.
Yeah. Sorry, that doesn't.
Flash?
You don't get it all, though. You're not
super
correct.
speed.
Huh? Yeah,
I'm saying biomechanically.
it would hurt.
Hey, plus in Generation Gone,
Oh shit!
I'm just saying
It's
when
Green Lantern.
when the girl's flying in the sky, her eyes are fucking watering. So it makes sense.
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern? Let's do it.
Green Lantern.
I thought about Green Lantern,
Fuck.
but I didn't go with it. My answer was the Flash powers.
His Dick Man. You
Here's
got
why,
it.
though. Here's why, because I thought about
Hey,
it.
we both fucked each other over for the Flash.
I thought about it, and I was like, I thought about powers, and I didn't think about it, which one would be the coolest to have. I just thought about like which one would help me most in life. And I also feel like I don't have time. So the Flash.
Did you see the spoilers for season 4, Flash?
No, is he dead?
There's something cool coming up. I think.
No, I was gonna say the only reason I would Flash to me would be is good, but my only problem with that would be it's you wasting the energy to run. You still have to run.
Dude, you could eat fucking anything.
But at least I can will
nothing.
myself to just float over something.
Out of a passable 17 points, we're not at the last question yet, but just to let you know where you stand. Possible right now 16 points because we haven't asked the last question. You right now have 4 correct.
Some of these are borderline like you change your mind over the years.
Well, I was saying there's some of these that we've actually gotten the right answer. We've just told you we've locked in the wrong one.
We weren't not wrong.
But I think 15 I can maybe figure it out. DC or Marvel choose you to take over as creative consultant for one book. However, excuse me, they don't trust you with one of their big titles. What B or C level character do you take over?
DC Kite Man.
I was thinking Swamp Thing.
Oh. B or C list? Don't let our sponsor hear you saying B or C list. How dare you?
Even more reason to make him an A list.
Rootsofswampthing.com. Go there and learn about the Swamp Thing. Learn about the green. Actually,
he's an A character.
Oh, go ahead. You actually didn't answer yet.
So. Yeah, duh. He's about to give us the answer. Marvel, MODOK.
As an assassin. I was thinking Booster Gold DC. But I know that was you. But I know he likes
I don't think that's it.
Okay. What are you thinking?
Batmite?
MODOK. Batmite.
B or C level?
Zatanna Zatara.
Ooh.
John Constantine.
Tom Devine would be all over that.
Sinestro.
Oh. But no. No one wants to write a villain. Or be a chief consultant. This is fucking hard.
I would consider Sinestro not B or C.
I would say he's an A.
A.
He's an A villain.
Now I can think it's Kite Man.
Man-Bat could be a B or C character.
Man-Bat that shouldn't exist.
Oh, yeah, he was in that Batman issue.
He got shot down by that bat plane.
I'm going DC Kite Man. Because I know I'm going to get this wrong no matter what.
Well, you and I are teams. How can you and I have separate ones just to see if someone gets it?
Yeah, go.
I'm going to say Swamp Thing, DC.
Did you say?
I'm sorry, John. I said Kite Man, DC.
I'll lock.
Incorrect. This is actually one that I did answer last time. I was not paying attention. It was like almost 30 episodes ago, which is 30 weeks, which is half a year. Almost.
Over half a year.
The question. I would write.
Oh, balls. We don't care about Montoya.
And I would write Montoya version. So, question. I got an answer.
The question.
The question.
Not he's asking us questions.
Right.
Oh, you thought I said question?
Right. Which I was like,
the question.
what do you want? Why are you answering an
Answer.
Montoya. The question. Those. You know what? Only got 4 right.
Guys, I can't hear you.
So you think? Okay, so I remember you two got pretty good scores on each other.
Marvin, you keep things to yourself a lot. Unless it makes you cry, then you share.
Vision.
I think it's because you guys are locked into. That's the way you are. I'm always changing, maybe, left and right.
Here, I want to go through these questions again and see if I would change my answer. Not that you will remember what I put. What is your favorite current comic book? Shit, Deadly Class.
We're not doing your whole.
Who is your favorite DC character? Batman. Would you gotten that right?
Yeah.
Damn it. Favorite Marvel
Wolverine.
character? Oh, so I was actually going to change it to Spider-Man.
You don't like Spider-Man.
How dare you?
Douchebag.
Don't act like you know or you like Spider-Man.
Punisher,
Yeah, all you
bro.
do is make fun of him.
Deadpool.
Deadpool's not even Deadpool anymore.
I would bet money you like Craven more than you like Spider-Man.
I do. I like.
So don't fuck around and tell me you like Peter Parker
It
over
had to be a superhero.
Logan.
It'd be Wolverine. But if it was a villain, Craven the Hunter.
Let us know what your answers would be at Wednesday Comics on Twitter, or let Garrett know how you're feeling about your feelings at Garrett 2188, at Alex Pastrello,
Sorry I gave you a shred of hope in a dark world.
Pastrami_news. Follow me at Marvin_Salguero, or email us WednesdayComics605 at gmail.com. Send us a voicemail. We'll play it at the end of the show, or if you have a question, we'll play it during the free talk and we'll talk about it. 605-215-1849. That is 605-215-1849. Find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Wednesday Comics Podcast. subscribe to the show, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and Google Play. Once again, don't know why I pointed at you.
I don't know if we're specific to those things.
You can find us on YouTube. There's usually video of the show. What's up, guys? And on the forecast audio is up there. You can listen to it on the YouTube if that's what you want to roll. Some people roll that way. Some people roll on podcasts. Some people roll on iPods. Do you have an iPod?
Hell yeah, iPod Classic, 120 gig. Keep all my music on there. It's like a hard drive.
It is a hard drive. Not like a hard drive. It is.
Go watch Argo. I've had it since sophomore year of high school, so fuck you all.
Did I forget something? Oh, WednesdayComics.com.
We love you guys.
Go to WednesdayComics.com. I'll tweet about this when I write that essay about AD.
Fans, laugh with me when he fails miserably at this.
I'm going to write an essay about it.
I didn't say you're not going to write an essay. I said your essay, there's no way in a fucking million years you're going to be able to explain whatever that third trade is explaining to anybody. Unless you're literally like, he walked next to a tree down a hill. Then I'll be like, okay, fine, you fucking win. You said exactly what I see on the page, but you're not saying exactly what's happening.
To give you an idea, though, of our reading styles, last week you didn't know that Black Widow stayed dead in Secret Empire.
You know what? To be honest, though,
they were at her grave.
But when they're standing, like they're trying to, like that's very misconceiving.
But it says they were redded out, like they were in the red zone.
I could see her red hair, whatever. I just saw them standing, and it didn't make sense.
I'm just saying, maybe I'm going to read this.
I'm dead, but I'm standing.
He's feisty. You know what else you should remember, though? October 5th.
October 5th.
Umbrella
Academy Apocalypse Suite, Volume 1. That's what the Volume 1's called. Read that.
Remind me October 4th to read that.
Talk about it on the show. Send us your voicemails, Twitter, Facebook, or email. Let us know what you think of that book.
We got any in yet?
No, you can send them early if you want to. You don't have to wait till October 4th like this guy. Go ahead and read it now. Send your thoughts now. I'll compile them. Put them in the show. We'll talk about a book. This is to get people, you want to be part of the show. This part is your time. And also to get people to like try new things. Let's try new things.
I'm actually excited to read this because I know nothing about it.
Come in fresh, or if you like know somebody who wants to get into comics, give them this book too, and tell them, hey, listen to this podcast. They're going to talk about it. You know what? We will. October 5th. It's coming up. We thought of for like when we announced it, it was like, 3 months. You're like, I have all the time in the world. Now we got a month.
Well, because I'm not going to read it, and then by the time I get there, I'm like, I forgot what happened.
I'm going to have to read it that week before
If you read it today, you'll remember then.
I'll be reading that Monday before we talk about it. I'll forget about then too.
Just remember, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, push comes to shove.
Okay, I get it. You're fucking Marvin. Jesus.
That I've been Marvin.
Holy shit. I've been Alex.
I was Garrett 5 minutes ago when Marvin started his name.
So everyone, you know what? Shut up, Marvin.
You don't get to talk.
Keep turning those pages.